Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are here continuing the Paraguay game here in Victoria 3. Let's get these beats going. Job openings. Hurrah. So, last episode, we did kind of a lot of this. We do have Argentina and Chile as subjects, and we're not going to annex them until they colonize all of this, because otherwise we will lose access to their claims, and so that'll be quite a while. Which means we're not going to end up forming, what is it, coming in here, Asian formation. We're probably not going to end up forming Rio de la Plata for quite some time, but this is going to be the method we use to annex them eventually, which will allow us to do it for less infamy, or at least a little bit less infamy. Maybe that's just on Arge for Rio de la Plata. I don't think we can form the massive, I don't think as Rio de la Plata we will gain access to the massive formable for everything. I'm not 100% sure on this though. If so, we would want to diplomatically unify these top guys, but we might militarily unify. We also have Brazil as a subject, so if we just kind of take a look at our customs union, which I believe is British, this shows kind of how everyone's in it. However, we are experiencing this problem, which we have noticed as well. And this is not due to infrastructure. This is because the British market does not have enough boats, which is a subject of concern for us, because this is long-term, catastrophic, or cataclysmic, or however you like to put it. We can try and build boats to offset what's going on here, and this is what we're going to do, but if it continues for too long, there's just no way we can possibly sustain this type of market access. I'm not sure exactly when it started. I know it's really bad for our economy, but we really like siphoning off migrants from the UK. And so, and once we leave, we cannot ask to join because the game's a little asinine in that respect. And you cannot ask to join a customs union, but you can accept joining a customs union if you're not a GP. If you're a GP, you just can't do it. So, I think, but if we are going to be on our own, doing our own customs union, we're going to want the ports anyways, so we're not going to build in Yemen, I don't think. Let's not sort by job seekers, let's instead sort by peasants. Who needs jobs real bad? Okay. There's not qualifications there, but we'll just build the port there anyways. Eventually it'll recruit up. Uruguay has a decent amount, and so I guess it's Buenos Aires. South Cameroon. We'll just build these two ports. We'll put Santa Fe port in the back of the queue. And let's check our infamy, because it has been a little hot second since we played this. We are pretty infamous. We just, did the things with Brazil, so I think we're ready to go. Hotrak says, hello, I'm here for the boats. Well, we are going to build some boats. Probably a lot more than the Transvaal run. I was thinking that, like, this run felt so clean at the start. I was thinking maybe Uruguay actually is an easier single-state start than Transvaal, but that felt sacrilegious. Transvaal is, like, one of the best singular states in the game. But the thing is you really have issues with expansion and discrimination, so... it is a bit of a problem. Now... we definitely wanted to try and take Constantine for the purpose of being able to trade with France for this. This was kind of something we were interested in. And considering France is involved in a play, this would be easier right now. It's going to be 15 infamy or 6 to protectorate them. It's unfortunate you can't trade a protectorate or a vassal or a dominion or any of this for a state. If we could do that, that might be... Bro, I think we're just supposed to fight France for this, to be honest. Before we reduce autonomy on Brazil. Because it will be easier to land and then prevent them from landing than it would be to full rumble them, to be honest. Same goes for the UK, actually. Actually, no, just kidding. Oh, yeah. Brazil does give access through here. Netherlands does not, and UK does. It's like visually, like some of this area is like kind of visually unclear. Like Brazil can't expand into Venezuela because of the impassable terrain. Hello, Eden. How's it going? The increase you got from multiculturalism on Transvaal run was crazy, though. I know, just like unleash the floodgates, because we had so much like pent up like. We had already invested the construction in so many things. And so, but the problem was employment, and so, like, it just, like, it's like a light switch turning it on. Timothy says, hello, Kosovo. Are you from Kosovo? Something that, looking at the PM efficiency, and I still have to do a video on this, but the efficiency per construction, made me realize how bad, like, food industries in general is. Because, okay, the base PM is kind of normal looking, where we have, this will be 4.5k workers. Normally it has, this is kind of normal for an industry that starts out with a, merchant guild ownership, where it'll be 5k total, which is kind of most buildings baseline, or nearly every building's baseline, but then 500 on the merchant guild, and so 450 laborers, that's bakeries. And so sweeteners, the main line is all 4.5k. However, all of these increase the amount of labor required. So now this is going to add 900 laborers, and it's still, like, kind of worth it, but, like, it makes the building look very attractive on paper if you're not paying attention to labor, but it's, like, really, like, food industries kind of suck. And then these adds 500, and then adds 700. So what you end up getting when you have capitalist ownership, so you'll have 4,600 on the base, and then you'll end up adding like 6,200 total, like, and you don't get automated bakeries for a while. To be fair, automated bakery is one of the best labor-saving PMs in the game, but, like, the buildings kind of suck. So, Kosovo is the country you're from? Oh, man. Hello from Kosovo? Oh, I just saw your... Okay. Wow. Where is Kosovo exactly? Is that Africa or is that... That's Africa, right? I honestly don't know where Kosovo is on the map. Rationalist is right. We love Kosovo. Can't find it on the map, though. My favorite excuse is I'm American, so I don't look at maps. We have a little bit of extra Diplo, and I suppose we want to think about what we are trying to do. This is actually a first for me, though. I don't think I've ever seen Central America not bust up. TBH. Maybe we just want to let our infamy decay. We just want to use our Diplo to decay infamy. But I was thinking, what do we want to do, like, longer term, like with the UK? I'm not sure what the answer is. Yeah, let's keep the game running while we're doing this. Okay, we definitely should be rivaling some people. No migration controls. Hell yeah, brother. I suppose Ottomans are maybe a decent rival. We want to rival a bunch of people that won't be able to do anything to us. Won't really have interests in our regions, and as a consequence, they're effectively not a true consideration. I think we'll do all the Italian ones. I think we'll do... We're unlikely to share interests with this, and now we will get extra infamy decay. Not rivaling Denmark. Denmark never does anything. So not rivaling a bunch of those. And it looks like our income is dramatically improved, and I would venture to guess it's because the British market has been restored. But these fluctuations are going to be a little bit of a pain. We're probably not going to try and land Paraguay, though. And we receive a bunch of rivals back. I think we do want to run this down a little bit. I still have to... it's so... The test for is so mathematically, like, difficult, but I think you... Someone was... I remember talking to someone about them thinking it's not mathematically worth it to go for deficit spending, and I think that they're just incorrect on great powers, and they didn't correctly. So is this the British market again? I think that they weren't. No, it's not. It's just investment pool. I think they weren't correctly identifying that it boosts your overall GDP and the profitability of all buildings when you deficit spend. And this is actually the main point, I think, more so than the getting to build buildings faster thing. Because when you have a bunch of buildings, increasing prices stimulates all of them. I mean, we still have a queue. We're looking to de-peasant with these logging camps. I'm sure we put them on auto-expand. The logging camps are just going to be really, really good. Even if they will also give us... even if they don't get employed, they will give us available employment modifiers. Which I don't think we have anywhere, but I would... Or I'm assuming we don't have anywhere. Available employment, Cordoba, we have. Big nice. Kosovo's in Africa. Kosovo's in the Balkans, says Eden. That's the correct answer. Isn't it? Kosovo is in Africa. I know your president was in our state recently visiting your capital sister city. Your capital sister city. Sister city? The USA. We should find a lot of pass. Trying to marginalize these guys because we hate the Age of Galdios event. We're trying to nuke them out of here. Which I think is the reason we haven't gone off a national militia. Does secret police give... Well, I think we might go no home affairs. No one gets super pissed on this. We do eventually want to go freedom of speech. But right now, freedom of speech is actually pretty good for us. We will like property... Well... So one thing about staying on legal guardianship is it makes passing other stuff later easier. It increases your ability to roll stuff, so it's this interesting one. We definitely want health insurance. The problem is the Catholic Church is out. Are we on total separation? No, we're on freedom of conscience. And we could just try and get the trade unionists up to deal with that. But we could go back to clerical educators. I think we got frustrated and we swapped off of it. I can't quite remember. Laissez-faire is a thing. The problem with laissez-faire is it's currently bugged out. And I'm not sure how I feel. It's inconsistently bugged out, though. Right now we're getting access to, like, I think a proportional amount of the queue. But specifically when you finish draining it all out, it's not as bad on, like, lower amounts, but maybe we're just supposed to say interventionism. God, it feels bad, man. Cultural exclusion, I think actually might do something for us. I'm not sure if we have, let's take a look. So, Soto, Nogini, Tonga. So, I think we might, yeah. So these guys would be accepted if we swapped. They represent kind of a small portion of our economy, but also... Let's take a look. Indigenous American history, we would be able to... Siphon off migrants from all these guys if we swap. And I mean, okay, we wouldn't be able to do as much stuff. I want to do... I mean, really do want to get on the health insurance, though. And we do have pharmaceuticals researched already. How do we... I know how we demarginalize these guys, but I hate it. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna fire... We're gonna fire the Intelligentsia. We're gonna fire the intellectuals, everybody. Everyone cover your eyes. We're firing the intellectuals here. Big Sag. I've always wondered, do you ever think a food industry company is ever worth it for the birth rate? The thing is, the birth rate's not, it's not giving you a 5% flat birth rate, it's giving you a 5% modified birth rate. And so, like, birth rate will be like 1 or 2%, or not, like, I forget what percentage it's probably going to be at. But let's call the birth rate 2%. In fact, if we come over here, our annual projected pop growth is, 1%. And I'm not sure, I can't remember if this is going to include migration. Let's say it doesn't, though. 1.09%. What the 5% food company will do, it won't boost us up to 6%. It'll boost us to 1.14%. And then, on top of that, as an industry, food sucks. You really don't want to be building a ton of it. So... I mean, I suppose you get extra throughput on it. It makes it a lot better, but, it's not gonna be lit. And so, where's the steel mill? Santa Fe. So it's gonna be a little bit of a problem. Schon groß aus Deutschland. Big. Also, people like the stream for visibility. Wait, what? Visibility? Is something not visible? Oh, I see what you mean. If you like the stream, it'll show up in more people's recommendeds. But any advice on when to focus on early when playing Japan? Rice is nice. I think that you should build logging camps and set them on auto-expand and set rice on auto-expand and try and export both and try and de-peasant your pops as quickly as possible. But don't collapse the price of rice. Don't just like come into the queue and be like, oh, we're gonna add 50 rice, because then your rice price will plummet and you'll have a bad time. You will have a bad time. I think that maybe we have... Take a look at our declared interest. North Africa, kind of what we want. And then if anyone messes with China, we kind of want in on that, so... That's why we got those. We have... Okay. A fleet? I think that... Someone said something about building more boats. We'll put those in the queue. Just trying to clean up. Soto. I think we'll call this the African Army. And we'll give it some regional flair. And then these guys are just kind of our standard half and half. But we're mainly leaning on conscripts, so... Guten Tag, wie geht's? You're straining my the extent of my German. I think we get is how are you? I can't remember. Syphilis. Do we want the radical guy to step down? Is he popular? He's not popular, so he's probably not going to become a general anyway. Or I mean, the leader of the IG. mean, it does feel like we're in uber chill mode here to start this one out because we already have so much infamy. I mean, it's coming down. We boosted that. I think we're gonna look to rate it into maybe around 50% and then try and even out a little bit. And then, yeah. Where are our edicts? Let's see that. Okay, so we have a construction edicts in these two states. So we do want to build a little bit more here, and we have also greener grass in Santiago. So, if these are not on auto expand, which they are, I think we'll kick them onto it. What is the transportation price look like in a lot of these places? Transportation's still a little fiddly, but is there any place where it's cheap? Well, it's not super expensive over here. So, we can maybe start turning on labor save. It's not going to make more money, but it's going to free up workers, and it's going to allow us to push up SOL, because on average, the people will have better jobs. And then it'll cause these places to employ up, which is going to help them auto-expand a little bit faster. So, altogether. Also going to swap all these. And then we have one railway here, a banana plantation. It's already on rail. Hopefully that doesn't cause a shortage. It does not, and that frees up some workers here as well. And we'll put that on auto expand. Good afternoon. / morning / good night. Yeah, if that's the birth rate increase works, there are much better options. Yeah, so like, if you increase GDP, like, so for example, minting is going to stimulate the economy and is going to allow you to spend more money without having to take it from your pops, which is going to raise the prices of stuff, which is going to increase migration attraction. And so maybe you actually end up getting more from, like, the gold company, more population than you would the food company. I'm not sure. Today's stream has gas link energy, not gonna lie. What's that mean? Like an inevitable explosion? Is the getting formables bugged for Paraguay? Is the one removes your Native American heritage still? I'm not sure. We could save and then do one of these formables. We have access to cultures. Oh my god. Rio de la Plata. I'm not sure how many we need. We need 10, so I guess we gotta wait quite a while. And these guys are gonna colonize real slow. We actually probably want them on open borders, to be honest. Because then we could siphon off their stuff. So let's force them. And we maybe want to, if someone's will reduce autonomy for nothing, then we maybe want to do that. We're not going to actually take a swing at him. Actually, we do have access through, maybe we are supposed to annex this guy. I think this will probably be what we do next. The thing is we would not want to do that if we can form the massive Spanish-speaking, like, confederation or whatever. We are colonizing over here. We would want to gain access to Congo. We have Congo. Oman would also be reasonable. Let's take a look. Congo, we're protectorate in Brunei. Alright. So, not even 100%. The disrespect. No respect. Could take a save and go after Nejd, maybe. Thing is, we actually do want to decay down on the infamy, but this is long-term going to be really good. Ottoman Empire is our rival, though, so they'll almost certainly join against us. Tripolitania breaks free. Right before our very eyes. They're a really good one to have. On a, like, per infamy basis, a lot of gold, or, sorry, oil. I guess it's kind of like gold. Does appear there. How are we doing on the British market? We're doing alright. think that's kind of what we want to be doing on the incorporation. We do have an adjacency to Oman. But again, if we protectorate them, Ottoman sides with them, it's kind of a bit of a messy war. Let's actually find a law we want to pass. Or let's see if the... No. They're almost demarginalized. Let's try this. No. We don't have enough anymore. This is a tragedy. I think we'll switch to that and just construct a little bit more. Oh, what's this about? We had low taxes. Alright, it's time to fly, everyone. So Santiago we wanted to build in. We wanted to build here. That was our old capital. Or it's still our capital. So let's build in these 3 places. Get ready to go. Do you know exactly how the importing slaves works? I don't know it in great detail. I know it's not... I know it's just not worth it. Good question with slave trade. I think the engine controlled, so it's hard to take a look at the files. I think you need an interest somewhere in Africa to buy slaves from there, but I don't know if it's 100% sure. I don't think you need an interest, but I really also don't know. It'd be funny if it works with your interest, if you plan an interest in southern China to grow your population through Qing XP. The big idea behind the Qing interest is we want to piggyback if someone's going to slap them around, especially if that someone is Russia. Swap laws for puppets. It's a mechanic. It's not one we use super often, but it is there. I mean, I think maybe we annex these guys, because they're going to have the really good stuff. I think that's probably the next one we do. I think we wait a little bit. Maybe we don't want these guys to be cold. Like, we want to have a little bit of buffer. That is going to decrease our infamy decay, but that will probably be fine. We're still making 8k here, after adding the construction sectors. It's up to 89. I think we can maybe add a little bit more. We are definitely trying to push it in Santiago specifically. It's unfortunate, yeah, we don't have any place that has coal and the stuff. They might accept. 1% chance. Is that where we're supposed to use it at one time? Probably not. So we can just really not sure what the next expansion... Well, I think it's just taking Peru, but... Yeah, they have gold. This, like, has to just be it, right? It will give us access to a ton more resources. Ecuador would be nice. We're still not sure if we can form the Spanish-speaking mega nation or not. Which would require us... Actually, how many states? 1, 2... I guess it depends how the states are counted, right? So what we're thinking is so Rio de la Plata, we have to own this or have these guys as subjects. And I think they have to be Dominion or less, so we're going to have to reduce autonomy on them anyways. That's going to be good for us. We don't have any boom boom set up, but we're in the British market, so it's not going to make too big a difference. We should just be able to absorb and use their boom booms. But this is going to be really good because we have a lot of sulfur. And so in the sulfur places specifically, it's going to make a lot of sense for us to build fertilizer and boom booms. So we're going to add this and fix up the PM because this is intaking sulfur and iron. We have sulfur and iron, that's what we have. And then this is going to intake fertilizer and sulfur. And we have fertilizer and sulfur here. So that's going to be perfect for us. And then we are de-peasanting really aggressively here. We don't even have very many peasants left. Of course, we don't have very many pops, so the truth hurts. And this is like why we don't want to leave their customs union, really. If we could avoid it. We could build extra railways just so that we could increase the labor-saving PMs. Because we don't have this on yet. I don't think we could swap it. I think we could swap this one. Transport's a little expensive, though. It's expensive, yeah. Maybe we can swap here. I think that'll cause a shortage if we do that. Yeah, let's look at local prices. So we have 95 buy orders and 70 sell orders. So we could go up to 140. So we could just add 45 buy orders. And this will add 5 per level. So 25. Okay, so we can do this. Which is going to labor save us, free up employment, and the employment will be able to go into the sulfur. And the tools. And so that's going to be super nice for us and will help to pull up the migration attraction. Which, to be fair, a lot of it's from greener grass right now, but worth it to stay interventionist for the bug? We're staying interventionist because of the bug, but I'm not sure if it's worth it, so we're hemming and hawing a lot. I think it's going to be more worth it. So the more construction you have, the more laissez-faire will start to look better. And I think maybe if you have like 1,000 to 2,000 construction, you have a sufficient amount of construction to just kind of brute force your way through it. And also you're going to not be able to unbalance your economy like you can in the early game. Like we are unbalancing our economy to wood. We would very much like to unbalance our economy to wood, and so this is created. AJ Bulwalda says, I've been really enjoying your content. Have some money. Thank you very much for the money. I will continue to provide more content. But thank you so very much. Let's see. Why is my YouTube slow and lagging? Must be the ad block. Supposedly, if you have an ad blocker, YouTube has it set up so that it slows down your stuff. Also, is it me, since this update, is Bahrain always stuck at civil war? I've seen it quite a bit. It's nothing like 1.0's like, infinite things. We can protect them here, actually. That's not unreasonable. We definitely do want to do that. The thing is, Ottoman Empire is very likely to join against us. Oh, wait. Oh, we're no longer a rival with them. Did we get out of their league? Well, if they're not going to rival us, we'll just take a stave, and we'll, just in case the UK like sides against us, which is, I think they've done a kind of good job at eliminating that psychosis, but your subject siding against you is definitely, it feels bad, man. Or sorry, your overlord. And this one's going to be really manageable as well. I think we're going to wait until like half escalation, and then we'll put in the other war goals, just in case someone else joins and it's weird and we want to use our obligations. Did you butt it with season pass? Buy it? That buy makes a lot more sense than did you butt it with season pass. The new DLC. Actually, Paradox reached out to me recently about giving early access to it, and so I'm probably going to do a poll whether people want me to accept early access or not. Early access is going to make me more... I assume everyone says take early access, but it's going to do two things. Is one, there's probably, when I have early access, there's probably going to be a content embargo, and so there might be 1 to 2 weeks where I don't put anything out on Victoria 3. And I'm playing the game on early access, and then once the embargo is lifted, then I can release a bunch of stuff. And two, it would make me perhaps more biased. I don't think people really care about that, but people could care about that, in the sense that I will be less likely to say something bad about Paradox if they're like actually giving me free stuff. Is it raining outside? Oh, so it is. Let's close the window. It is a thing that the landing party should have at least as many ships. You could have more if you wanted. More doesn't hurt. What happened to your video on why you play Vic 3? I'm still gonna do it. I have been, since Wednesday, playing a lot of Dominion 6. And so that's kind of been occupying a big chunk of my time. Because I do want to figure out the game better. I don't think I know the game well enough to really necessarily comment on it, and I would like to. Alright, we're still reputable. I mean, is there another... So reducing autonomy is something we're in the market for. Also, we have another interest we can declare. I think we're going to declare it in Central America. We're going to look to do semi-organic expansion. I know we've gone after this, and I know we've gone after Brunei, but people like the organic stuff a little bit better. I mean, so if we wanted to go after Constantine to trade... No, we're just going to take that off of France the natural way. It's only 4 infamy. I mean, I suppose we could do it now. I think we'd rather get a little stronger. We don't want stuff going too crazy. You can get more ships faster by building one in each state. Yeah, but they're not combat-ready ships. You don't want to try and win wars with those ships, or win battles with those ships. You won't be able to win battles with the guys that only have 2 employment, but yes, when you first build a ship, it instantly, in a new province, it instantly gives you another boat. So as this goes to 2.1k, then we will have 3 boats. And then if it goes to 3.1, we will have an additional boat. So I think we might add some more ships to... Well, no, let's not. We're kind of not doing too hot on the money. Supposedly the ad block side, that bug came out this week. Oh. Is that allowed? Are we allowed to blame the ad block? I like actually watched some of the YouTube subreddit where like it's a lot of people complaining about ad block or like about YouTube and why they use ad block. I love your content and learned a lot through your tutorials, despite having few free time. You're very welcome for the tutorials. Or you say big thanks too. That's why I say you're welcome. What is this? I wonder if we could yo-yo sway here. Netherlands joins, right? UK joins, so we will not be trying to do any funny business. Just kidding, we didn't mean it. We did not mean it. I kind of hate how when this becomes the Raj, the UK just starts annexing everyone in here. It bothers my eyes. It's weird because if you watch YouTube with ad blocker logged out, it works great. Only when you log in, it does. Yeah, but... Yep. I think that they would prefer it be slower as well, but also, the ad blocker is allowed to make a mistake, right? We've been trying to demarginalize those guys for forever now. We really want the health insurance. Man, that sucks. So I believe they share some cloud attraction with the landowners, and we don't like the landowners, so maybe we will do this. We could suppress the landowners instead of bolstering the Catholic Church. We get an we could also provide an agitator. Oh, we're on presidential republic. Big yuck. We don't like that. It's difficult to replace, guys. I think homesteading will make it more difficult for us to demarginalize these guys. Let's start with bolstering them. Come out, please. Please, we just want to pass one law and then banish you to the Shadow Realm. Does this make the church upset? It does. Not super upset. It'll be easier for us to roll a humanitarian later without it, though. Okay, if we go off from oligarchy to landed voting, makes the industrialists upset, but it would do quite well. So here's the thing, it'd be bad for us overall, but it would help to demarginalize these guys. Maybe we just sit tight, or continue to sit tight. We hate the presidential republic. I think we're stuck with it, too. To be fair, it's themey to keep this guy for at least a while, though, so... We do have a movement for property women. Maybe we just... Yeah, let's just peel this off. I know it's gonna, like, long-term, like, cause our difficulties with getting stuff, but we're just gonna take it here. We have a movement for it. An agitator arrived and will join the propertied women. We love that. Interesting timing. But he'll be happy. Thought it said he was going to join propertied women. Is he not joining because we started on it? That's grim. Now, these logging camps should only be auto-expanding when they're fully employed, so... Yeah, we are doing a number on getting rid of the peasants, at least in places that are incorporated. Is this the guy who just arrived? It is. We generally don't like the pacifists, so we'll let him settle. I think we might peel off a save. It's good that the UK is involved in that play, because they're less likely to be psychotic. Here. Well, I suppose Brazil could be psychotic. Oh, can we not use Ecuador? Bro, why is this inconsistent? I know they're... Do they have to be a vassal? I thought they could be a dominion now. Okay, we don't want to... We can't land this. So we were just kidding. We didn't mean it. We do not have enough boats for that. It's weird because if you watch YouTube with, okay, wait. Take early access, get that bread. Yeah, this is probably what I'm gonna do, but I also get the game for free. If I do that. But, it's so weird. I guess we're gonna have to puppet them fully. Or we go after Bolivia, to be honest, and take Antofagasta. Which only has a population of 74k. This is kind of an amusing one. I think we're supposed to protect them over doing that, though, but... If that's going to cost 12, we're still going to weight down some of this decay. I got to the point that you are giving Victoria 3 another try. It seems like they've really improved the game. They really have. There's definitely some frustrating things about it, though. I really enjoy the game, but like I would not argue like in a vacuum that it's like the best game or something like this. You could pre-record the embargo just for content made after getting the pre-release. Yeah, so this is what I was thinking I would maybe do, but I'm uncertain how much I can record ahead of time. It depends. Because also, my motivation for playing, like right before playing an enormous amount right before I get early access, is probably going to be relatively low. I'll probably just kind of want to wait for the access, like just talking about the psychology of the thing. You're doing this for a living, taking money to demo a game. Well, I don't think they would give me money. They're just giving me the game earlier, which is in some respects kind of like giving me money because I can make content for the game that gets released earlier. I think we'll do that. Yeah. I like my Asian leaders to wear Prussian general outfits. Bro, me too. Looks like we got another explosives factory coming up in Transvaal, actually. Maybe we should take a little bit look. I think we will do spread the word. We would just rather have the migration attraction here. And we're getting decent attraction. Nice. Not like our Transvaal run. Also, we cannot turn these people into boer. Or however that is pronounced. Let's see, what is the price look like on this? It's kind of middling, so we could probably turn on a little bit, and this will help the migration. So let's kind of do some of that. And then, I think almost certainly, oh, they're not out of infrastructure. We're just going to build one anticipatorily, which will allow us to turn on the gold mines when we eventually build them a little bit faster. I'm going to continue to turn on some rails. Not quite a shortage, but we're getting close. Alright, we're going to leave it at that. Oop. We're making a little bit of money now. The economy's been steadily cranking up. The Paraguayan dream. I think we're just going to take the extra standard of living, which is going to help with the migration a little bit. A lot of filter lists for ad. Interesting. A bit behind on the stream. I would like to say early access. It's always possible to plan around embargoes, have other content to cover, more work for you. Yeah. So I could pre-record a whole bunch of stuff pre-embargo, or I could just play another game as well. But also, if I get early access, I'm only going to want to play Victoria 3. I suppose breaking the embargo is always an option, but that guarantees I'll never get early access again, so that doesn't really seem like a reasonable one. I think that, let's stop improving relations. I don't think we actually want to be cordial with them. I think we want to be, like, neutral to a slight high. If I recall correctly, ad blockers making the experience worse for people with ad blocks is illegal in the EU. Yeah, I think it is. But in America, it's allowed. You can't yo-yo swipe if you're in a different play already. Yeah, this is correct. Oh, yeah, what do you think presidential republic is bad? So it becomes later, it's going to be really, really hard with, if our president is a, it's not so bad if he's intelligentsia, but if our president is an industrialist, which is often the case, then it makes it really hard to get the trade unionists into power. And in fact, this is actually a really strong reason to not go onto a voting system, because if we start voting in the president, the industrialists are going to take it, and then trade unionists are in favor of a whole bunch of good laws, but also, if you get a leader with like the bandit trait or really bad trait, you just can't get rid of them, because you can't exile the leader, you can't pull them out and exile them. So It's a pretty substantive penalty, and also you will generally have less legitimacy, and so overall there's just like a lot of overlapping things that you just like don't like. I think that we might actually end up going, if we swap technocracy though, this will help us to bring the trade unionists up, and if the trade unionists have a lot of clout when we swap on to voting, eventually I think that they won't get marginalized instantly, and so this is maybe a thing. We're just going to keep our bolster in for now, because we're going to want them kind of longer term. I suppose if we actually don't peel a good tick on propertied women, maybe we will see about putting the Catholic Church in, because the thing we really want to pass is the law. I think we can increase taxes a little bit here. The thing is like, I believe most of our unemployed people are in areas where we don't want to deal with it. Or sorry, not unemployed, most of our peasants. We don't want to build in Lorenco Marx. We don't mind building in Cordoba though, and Cordoba has a decent amount of peasants. Okay, so. And to be fair, we can build a little bit in Marx, but I think we have that on auto expand. I think, let's try doing the tools on auto expand. We'll not use that. It will be sticky to employ stuff up, but coal will be a little bit better for employing up, and also we don't have access to much coal all throughout this, so. Starting to come down to a reasonable level. Okay, so here's the thing. I think we're just gonna not pass this anymore. And I think we're going to put the Catholic Church in. And then we are going to try and get on public health insurance. As an institution, we want this. Now, where has not enough tax? Kind of nowhere. Alright. We'll throw one down in Transvaal in preparation for having a little bit of buffer. Let's also take a look. Could increase our home affairs, kind of don't want to. Oh, we have enough for a couple levels. Alright. We're going to max out the health institution as soon as we gain access to it. If I join a GP customs union, will they intervene when I annex their subject? It seems that they don't do that anymore, which is one of the most frustrating things. But if you join on, if you join their side on a play, then they can't join against you. So this is what you do. Hi today. I played as Spain and tricked myself into enacting protected speech before feminism, and can't exile IG leader to get multiculturalism. Womp womp. Yeah, we don't do protected speech before feminism. Humanitarian, not allowed. This is definitely one that I would miss a decent chunk, but I don't like protected speech because I do like the ability to do all the things, but then like in some situations it's not a big deal. In theory, alliance should prevent them from joining against you. Yeah, but theory is theory in theory, but not in practice. Or wait, no. Theory is practice in theory, but not in practice. There we go, that's the one. International companies comply to EU law if they have a huge European base because it's cheaper for them. There's a whole bunch of stuff that does, like, mixed, there's a lot of things that I think do mixed enactment or whatever. Actually, I think let's get ready to maybe help Mexico out if they declare on the Pacific Coast. But, like, a lot of stuff will have bifurcated systems where, like, they have a, let's call it a non-exploitative system for the EU, and then they have the full exploitation for the US. Spain starts charity hospitals and can't switch. Womp womp. That is kind of grim. We like ourselves the Catholic Church in the specific case of trying to get public health insurance. Which, like, this has introduced, like, a gameplay pattern that's, like, really not anywhere like the other ones. I think we'll just pay the 4,400. Government is subsidizing 30%. Yeah, let's just try and rip the band-aid off. There's probably some mathematical... we could probably do the math on the... what is the EV of... like, which one ends up costing us the most between that one and the plus 20% one, but... We'll just peel this off and try and get it done. Things are looking pretty good here. Alright, these guys will just accept the reduction in autonomy. Oop, actually. So now we have access to 6, because now we have a full of one of these states. And so... Also, the map's a prettier color. It's all turning red. It's all turning red. Look at that SOL climb. Minus pollution effects. Always forget about that one. Hello, Mr. Mercost. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I think we have... Oh, we do not have this on auto-expanded transwall. Why don't we flick it in? To be fair, the coal auto-expanding also maybe makes sense. Wee-woos. The door's closed, but we do hear some wee-woos. Anyone can enjoy European cyber protections with a VPN. The truth is. Lots of news websites just don't work from the EU due to your Roto laws. Interesting. Pronunciation, yeah, I'm very confident I mispronounced that. It's Lorenzo Marx. Lorenzo Marx. Lorenzo Marx. Lorenzo Marx. Okay. You call LZ lazy fairy, so I don't mind the mispronunciation. Vas-y faire, je suis un chat. Alright, so we will lose some migration attraction, but what we will gain is more gold mine potential. Ugh. Why are you not fully employing? Alright. I mean, not much sense in building here if we can't get it to employ, but that's kind of a little grim. Why is this fully employed? I know why, it's because of qualifications, but... So... I think maybe we should be... Maybe we got our eye on the wrong ball here, so let's do something a little bit different. Because if we can't employ the gold mines, that's actually really bad for us. And so, hopefully with that extra migration attraction, we'll start getting more migrants. We have a ton of extra bureaus, so we can do this. Declare interest in the middle of the lens and declare interest, I think. How do you get this UI? What? Talk about this? What are you talking about looking at the market? Wait, why do you have 0 market access to yourself? Oh no, they don't? That's just their color? Wow. It's so light. Lorenzo Marx. Lorenzo de Matterhorn. Man, you're so sleep deprived. Riding middle twice. Oof. Much middle, much excite. Definitely do want to... Sleep is really important. I think we're ready to take a save and take a peel off of Bolivia. Unless we could reduce autonomy in Ecuador and then go for Peru. I think we would prefer to do that, but... So maybe we take a look, what's the truce look like? 16 months. Also still don't know. If we knew ahead of time, we would be able to know whether we're supposed to do this diplomatically or not. If we can form the mega thing. And we can't know until we had Rio de la Plata, which we're like nowhere near forming. Which leaves me sad. Very sad. Because if we could do it diplomatically... Also, I mean, I think there is some sort of timeline you have to do it by, and we're just probably going to be too slow, so let's just assume we won't be able to form it. I think that's correct of us to do. Rain in California means less traffic, but more woo-woos. The truth hurts. Can I get some woo-woos in chat for the people who can't handle the rain? Jesus. Jesus. The truth hurts. Working on the Western Protectorate for Qing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't actually need to... you just need to take one state off of each of these guys. And so, like, Italian would be easy, beating up Portugal would be easy. France is a little bit tougher, as is the UK. I think maybe we do this as well. I mean, I think in theory we're supposed to have a... this is our landing squad. I was about to say, where's our landing squad at? There's our landing squad. We get canneries. Useless. Not very pop efficient. So this is why we save friends. Friends. A little psychosis from the UK. Mr. UK, can we expand your customs union? And extend the reach of your imperialism? The UK says no. But we're good friends. No. Which that's like completely unfightable. Like, the fact that we also can't give the UK something to like get them out of that is like also just like diplomatic plays are like the most frustrating aspect of this game, and I've been saying it for forever, which is why the DLC Spheres of Influence is so exciting, because I have to guess that they're like trying to really make diplomacy actually feel good. And like, I haven't made an alliance or a defensive pact in this game in forever, because your allies just abandon you, and then like you have to suffer penalties, and like you give them an obligation, and then they leave and it doesn't refund the obligation, and so like now you can't declare war on them, and it's like every time Army Pathing Bug killed my run when you tried to cheat the game. I hope Paradox. Yeah, Army Pathing Bug's definitely an annoying one as well. We're just going to be out here waiting for the UK to declare a play so we can join. To be fair, they might not have a good attitude towards us. Yeah, they're cautious, so maybe we should just learn to read. But also, the AI's psychotic. And if they're protective, sometimes they still bop you. Should we really be encouraging resources in those two spots when we have Transvaal in this? Railway shortage here. Or a transport shortage, almost certainly, yeah. That was the problem. I think that the encouraged resource industry does not work on the gold fields, but I do believe it works on the mines. And so... we have gold here. 3 gold mines, 5 gold mines. I guess that's kind of commensurate. And we'd rather kind of build more of a base here than out there, so maybe that's okay. How am I supposed to sleep when I can play Victory Fair? You're lacking qualifications, delete plantations and farms. This is not... well... I guess we can delete stuff right now. But I don't think that this is, like... we generally don't like deleting stuff. It's not against the rules, though. But we managed to employ up, so we won't need to do that. Like, gold will do a pretty good job stealing the owners from these things unless they're wildly profitable. Boost the resource industries further. Hell yeah, brother. Canneries is nice. Oh, we're researching nationalism to unlock our journal entries. Yeah, that's tier 2, so. I do wonder what is the definition for Germany. Like, is taking any one off of Austria? I think you just have to take one in either the North or South German HQ, so, or strategic region. So I think it has to be in South Germany or South or North Germany. So, if what you're taking off of Austria is Istria, that's in Italy. If what you take is, you know, Croatia, that's in the Balkans. So, but I think if you took Styria, I think it would count. I'm not 100% sure, though. That's kind of my guess on how it is. We'll take the legitimacy hit. We shouldn't have taken the legitimacy hit. Because we don't want to go below 50, because then it goes much slower. Oh, are we not below 50? Okay, then we did want to take the legitimacy hit. I thought we were just above 50, so. Oof, a little oofy. I mean, at this point, might be faster to reduce autonomy in Ecuador and go for. These GP shenanigans always kill for me. Yeah, I feel you. No, I mean, like, I was definitely, like, I was not a non-Iron Man player before Victoria 3. And then, like, in particular, the one thing that's catastrophic is you can switch sides when one of your subjects is having a rev and the button's in the exact same place as the declare neutrality. So sometimes you go to declare neutrality, you switch sides. This hasn't happened to me in a while, but like that literally would just kill your entire run, because then you switch to like some little rebellion that can't possibly survive. Is command economy any good at all? You have to have a really low GDP for it to be good. And then it's not good for very long. To be fair, like, it's really good for just constructing a whole ton. But it's usually it used to be the case that you would just categorically have too big a GDP by the time you could get it. I think when it starts being bad, it's like maybe 400 million GDP, and now like maybe there's some like cases where you go command economy and then you swap to cooperative ownership afterwards or something like this. But I think that is pretty narrow. Yeah, you have to have a small economy. How slavery works, do you have a spreadsheet? I asked my little bro to leave the room for a second. I do not have a slavery spreadsheet. I mean, like, the observation is that it's just not worth using. And so, like, if something's marginal, that's like when I investigate it via spreadsheet. If I'm really confident that a system is bad to be using, which I am with slavery, and not just morally, I mean economically, then, like, I think slavery should be a little bit better, like, if we're talking about representing, the game as a representation of reality, but, because, like, there's a reason the US was utilizing slavery, like, in terms of the economics, but, I have no problem with the game representing slavery as being not as good as, like, economically speaking as it was. I have zero problem with that. I do not want them to buff slavery. I wouldn't care if they buffed it, but, like, I'm not I'm not on a soapbox for the slavery buff. You're playing Indy and got 100 infamy, and Brit did a good job of, did not do a good job of protecting me. Yeah, well there's maybe a good explanation for that, to be fair. I'm so excited for public health insurance. Oh my god, I live in the US, the truth hurts. We're never gonna use public health insurance, what's that? I think we get a decent bonus from them too. 2% birth rate. I think we'd rather have the Protestant bonus at this point. 5% throughput on gold, sign me up. You lose opinion with people when you ally them quite often. They just break it, and I think it's a net loss. Yeah. I mean, like, I've stopped doing it because you have to help them, basically, and they don't have to help you, is kind of how it feels. And, like, there's also, like, I mean, on earlier, I don't have very much reference experience anymore, because they haven't, in any dev diary, been like, okay, we fixed alliances. And, like, I drew the conclusions that, like, alliances are just, like, catastrophically, like, not worth it. Just saying hello. Hello, Graf Zeppelin. Man, every time I see your name, it, like, triggers, like, in my brain, Zaf Brannigan. Graf Zeppelin. Just, like, the letters. Like, my brain going dyslexic for half a moment. They're lacking in diplomacy, but the whole point of Victoria 3 is diplomacy and economy, and they mess that up too. I think the economic system is really interesting. Like, most games, for the economics, is like, the buildings have a singular output, and you just have to ask the question, okay, which building is going to net me the most return? And Victoria 3, the variable output as a result of prices is, like, one of the things that's tremendously, like, interesting about the game. Like, the heart of the game is actually really pops, and this is actually something I don't care as much about. You know, in this sort of thing where the pops all separate based on profession and all this, and it tracks all the pops closely. The thing that gives me is, like, I really like the system where they have variable prices on everything. And also, like, the fact that you have different equilibriums at different conditions. So, like, the proper price for iron is going to change based on certain conditions in your, like, market. And wood, you should get really, really cheap early game, which is one of the reasons why we're emphasizing the wood, because we're kind of in, like, a sort of mid-game-ish transition, because we don't have that many peasants. But when you have a ton of peasants, you just want to tank the price of wood, and then you want expensive wood as you, like, start to, like, late game industrialize. Kind of sucks you don't really get access to sawmill PM. Okay, so this should unlock for us a little bit of new stuff. And then what did we want out of here? Well, could go labor movement, could go Quinine. I think the additional company is probably going to do it for us, though. And now we should unlock a journal entry. Bro, how are we supposed to own all of that? Oh, wait. With the recent flourishing of Paraguay, nationalist sentiment has given rise to nostalgia for the solidarity wars of independence. Calls for the restoration of the United Provinces of Rio de la Plata have begun to echo through Paraguay. The progress bar on the Age of Caudillo advances 200 points. I don't think we want that. We get extra maneuvers, we get plus infamy decay and a bunch of infamy. What do we actually get? We get a claim on Chacao, Ajujui, Alta Paraguay. Bro, we just subjugate them. Progress bar is depleted by 100 points. Rio de la Plata Journal. We're gonna make La Plata 1. Just give us a chance. Like, bro, this is, like, almost more infamy than subjugating these dudes. Just chill out, man. I guess we could have full annexed. Do we want to do the no-chill version? We can load and do no-chill. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure chill is better, just to be clear. And then we'll catch up on chat while you guys poll or vote. Easy way to get a rival is to ally someone. They will join the play, leave it, join the opposite side, and rival you. Yep, basically. It's really obnoxious. Paradox really likes pops. Yeah, they do really like their pops, and it seems to me that the game has performance issues that prevent them from implementing features, mainly because they have a ton of pops, and so like I don't know what to do regarding it. Or like I kind of look, I'm not this is not like a section of the UI I interact with that often. It's not, I understand it's the heart of the game, but it's not something that's very front facing, and so I don't have a proposition for how they should change the game, because like that's too beyond the scope of my consideration. But this is where most of the performance goes, and it's also not something I'm like looking at super closely when I'm playing the game. You know what I mean? And so I feel like, yeah, the fact that all these like pop splintering and having a bunch of different stuff, this is what takes an enormous amount of the bandwidth for processing. And so looks like you guys would prefer the no chill. Okay, we can go no chill. We can go no chill, I suppose. You can't disentangle. That's kind of just a branch of eugenics. Responding to what? We're getting a race discussion in chat. You can't disentangle slavery and racism in the U.S. unless you research human rights early. Oh, I thought you were going to talk about IRL. Eugenics was invented in California. That might be true. So. Okay, so, alright, here. La Plata will be one. We get Age of Caudillos. Chaco is now claimed by Paraguay. We get a bunch of these claims. Alto Paraguay, Chaco. Bro, that's so not worth it. I thought it was gonna give us more claims. We might have to chill a little. So we'll have a return state here for 0.7 infamy. The 10 infamy we paid is more than the price of all these, because this is the return state CB is the modifier is 2 instead of 5, so you could 2.5x the price of all this. But this is going to be 5 infamy. This would be like 2.5. This would be 2.5. So the price of just taking it, okay, we don't save infamy even if we're just taking states off of them. It's more expensive on the infamy. We are not going to do this. We are going to have some chill. I apologize to the chat. I lied to the chat. I implied that there would be a lack of chill, but there's in fact going to be some chill. Hopefully you'll forgive me. We would have to pay more infamy. See, I think normally that would be much more substantive because we wouldn't have already subjugated a whole bunch of the stuff. Embrace the Caudillos, bro, it's so bad. You get the armed forces really strong, like, for so long, and, like, the armed forces IG for the Caudillos suck. Because you get this extra authority on El Buen Jefe instead of actually getting some stats. I'd much rather have the plus 15, plus 15. This guy has no chill. We decided to chill. Simulating individual pops does very little to enhance the game experience. This is my perception. But also, so jobs is a significant one for me, but like culture I don't care about. Like, bro, like if you just merged all the cultures into one culture, I don't think I'd hate it. So maybe our next war, we just take Chaco. We do a little bit of a compromise, and we'll just take these 3 states. We'll take Jujuy, Alto Paraguay, and Chaco off of Bolivia instead of subjugating them. But we are waiting. Let's actually stop improving relations, considering what we're about to do. But we are waiting on the UK to get involved in a play somewhere. Let's declare an interest where we think the UK is semi-likely to have plays. And then we could probably reduce autonomy on these guys. Bro, we can't. Alright, we'll keep it open and available. Just get a bigger computer and simulate everyone individually. Yeah, not even fragment on the basis of things. People are individuals. How dare you, Paradox? You reduce people to merely their career and their ethnicity and their religion. How dare you? People are multifaceted. You must reduce it to the individual and calculate millions of things all simultaneously. How would you like Paradox to expand out the economy part of the game? I would like them to... I've said this in a couple spots, but you see how there's all these laws? I think that there should be like a massive like cultural system that kind of operates similarly to the law system, but the implementation is going to be different because you don't pass cultures. But stuff like multiculturalism should actually be like rooted in like a cultural like sort of thing and not a law, because we're talking about it actually being more accepting. And then like I think that they should get rid of art as a good and instead replace it with media. And that this media should include, because when you add more goods, you create problems, but that media, instead of art, should, like, do various things. And so if you have free speech, like, you have more efficient media PMs, but then this causes unrest and, like, this type of thing. And then, like, if you want certain, like, movements for laws, they should branch out of, like, an organic or a combination of, like, culture and other stuff. Where it's like it's abstract, so it's hard to like summon up like a bunch of examples of like what I would want. But like like an example might be if we have rights of assembly, we get access to PMs on our media industries that, you know, increase radicalism, let's say. But also maybe have better output. But then the radicalism in turn, like if you tune radicalism in a little different thing, this would cause people to lobby for law changes more. And so I think that tying the law changes to like this more ebb and flow idea with radicalism, so this would involve like a radicalism rework as well as like making it more fine-tuned where the radicals, right now the radicals just jump on any sort of movement. And they're not like, the game doesn't track what people are mad about. And I wish it did a little bit better. Because people can go from supporting one thing, like the entire country, versus to another, the entire country. And it doesn't make sense. But if there was like a cultural undercurrent, you know, in addition to the laws, for me this would be really interesting. And I don't think it would, but I think that such a thing would, like, yeah. I wonder how much the extra performance would be if we removed religions from the game. Yeah, like, so this is one to talk about. I would just love if they removed all religions from the game. Alright. A nation of our own. The legacy of our nation's independence from Spain has spurred the beginnings of a developed national identity. Conflicts have begun between the vision of a unique and independent Paraguay and the indivisible Latin America. Our homeland takes another step towards freedom. Actually, let's take a save, because I don't know how much this is going to affect stuff. Critical point. To be fair, maybe we should have saved here before the Age of Caudillos, because I am interested in exploring the local flavor. We will do our homeland just takes us another step towards freedom. And does this open up the possibility? No, we can't make the Paraguayan nation. Okay, what is this? The independence of Paraguay, blah, blah, blah. Patriotic or liberal interest groups will have a high clout. Ongoing wars, support, university, this high occupancy. We're getting 1 progress a month. Completing this journal entry will exclude Paraguay from pursuing greater pan-national ambitions. So it does seem like we can do the pan thing. Okay, so now things are shaking up a little bit. If completed, Paraguayan becomes a national primary culture, Plantanean. So we do not want to complete this. Will fail if we have successfully completed any of the Peru-Bolivian Confederation, Grand Colombian, or Bolivars. Okay. I don't understand the fail conditions here, and we don't want to succeed here. And we are getting a bunch of negative from owning non-primary culture homelands. Okay. We will get negative from ongoing war. And we don't want to complete the journal entry, I think. Because we want to be included in... Unless they can form the pan-nationalism stuff and we can't, then... I don't know. Ooh, I'm a little behind on chat, so let's bump the speed back to 3 and try and catch up. We're gonna make Paraguay great again, though. I think the real problem is not the number of pops, but a few algorithms that compare every pop to every other pop. That makes the calculations grow as a lot of pops instead of just pops. Yeah, well, it's because, so the game will track... It doesn't matter how big the pop entity is, but it matters how many entities there are. And so if we just come and take a look here, like we're just looking at Santa Fe, it will track one calculation for Plantanean, another for Portuguese. It doesn't matter the number in here, but it has to track all of these separate. And of the Plantaneans, you know, some of these are going to be some religion, some are going to be another. It's going to have to track these, and it's going to track different chunks for every single one that's a different profession. And so this means that Plantaneans specifically, and it tracks it also per state. So, you know, Plantaneans in Santa Fe, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 things to keep, or 15 things to keep track of for the Plantaneans. But then for the Portuguese, we also have things to keep track of. And so this is why multiculturalism slows down the game a lot. I read a post on Reddit on how to increase assimilation as a way of improving performance. Yeah, this will improve performance. The biggest gripe with the U4 not being able to destroy your own manpower in a war and knowing it will go back up no matter what, with no consequences. Definitely not with Victorious, where you get a bunch of dependents. You may have missed this by why Paraguay. We had voted for Paraguay a while back, and we just never got to it. Are you making Argentina get colony law? I think they already have it. I think they just have, like, no pop. They have frontier colonization, so they can colonize here. They are, just very, very slowly. We don't like it. Is 3v3v3 pause until 1.6? I was starting to get frustrated with 3v3v3 because I was having a lot of difficulty getting the events to fire. I felt like I was having to, like, remind people and get after people, and then also, like, we were having people show up late and leave early, and it was, like, disruptive, and I didn't want to, I was just getting frustrated. So, I think that if I could fire the 3v3 consistently, with enough people wanting to play, that, I would have backups, that I would be doing it right now. I don't think that's the case. And I think we had a bunch of, like, events, like, really not go kind of the way... I guess we want to be at war. constantly, huh? Alright, so... Yeah, so... I don't know. We didn't save before that war, but I think we will be fine reducing the autonomy of Brunei as long as the UK doesn't decide to thumb our pie. The UK is much less likely to thumb our pie as well when we are going after an, one of those guys. We will raise up the landing squad and get ready. But yeah, because of Paraguay's is better than one, true. Give us sliders for consumption taxes. Yeah, I wouldn't hate... why are we doing that? I wouldn't hate a slider. Although, I do think that kind of gives us a little bit more clout on these guys. So, if there was a time... Radical slaves that oppose no slavery law? Yeah. So, yeah. This is like an absurdity of the type that I'm kind of referring to. It's like, come on now. Being able to embargo individual goods and other economic warfare mechanics would be cool. I 100% agree. I also think that they need to rework the market system. I don't have like an exact solution for how I think it should work, but right now it feels very, like I think being in someone's market and not being in someone's market should not be this binary. And it should instead be like degrees of influence over the market. So like, I'm either in the British market or I'm not. And I think what should happen is you should like be able to generate like market influence with other nations as a result of, for example, having a really strong navy or doing a lot of trade, and that this should allow you to leverage some sort of conditions that are favorable to you. Because I'm actually reading a book on industrialization right now, Industrialization in the UK, and like reading it, and they talk about how trade was like an essential feature of what made industrialization possible. And right now trade sucks balls. Trade's really not useful because trade only influences the market price. It does not influence the real price of goods. And so 15% of the price of clothes here in Cordoba are not influenced by the market price at all, which means that trade is going to be a lot smaller than it otherwise would be, and this influence happens on both ends. So if I am exporting clothes from Cordoba, which I probably wouldn't be with that price, but let's say I'm exporting clothes from Cordoba to another country, I will have to eat the MAPI penalty on 15% of the buy orders that are created to increase my price. And so I won't be able to increase the price and generate more profits as well. So it will disaffect or negatively affect the price of textiles in Cordoba, and it will also negatively affect the margins that my trade is getting. And then on the other end, if I'm exporting to Russia, it's not going to it's not going to decrease the price of clothes as much as Russia would like, which is going to decrease the size of their trade route, which their trade route being smaller also will decrease, you know. It's not just the profits on my end, but the fact that I can't influence their price down as much because when I decrease the price, it's not decreasing it as much as it should be, and so it's not increasing consumption by as much as it should be, or increasing SOL, or however you want to look at it. Because it doesn't really directly increase consumption, but it just like it gets squeezed on both ends. And so when you like start to get like later on in the game, like or even early in the game, like trade just like does not feel very good. So speaking of trade, not feeling good, let's see if we can do any trades that we like. We actually can, so let's get after it a little bit, I guess. Speaking of trade sucking, here are some massive trade routes we could implement, but I think we just weren't doing any trading, and the UK is asleep at the wheel here. we'll export primarily wood as much as we can. Why Paradox not add the Third Reich flag? Yeah, the Paradox, I mean, you can't mention Hitler in the Discord, which I think is stupid, because Hitler existed in the time period, but you can't say Hitler in the official Discord. They do not want to touch that at all. And to be honest, I don't blame them, because it seems like a massive headache. Like, their job is not... Their job is the development of a game, right? It's not trying to prevent certain types of discourse on their Discord. And so... Like, they do not want to have to police people like... what is it? Dog whistling Nazism. And I do not blame them for that. So... I think it's fine that they, like, do that, but it's also kind of... It's not a decision I would make, but I think it's understandable, and you can't really blame them for that. That's what makes the flag, that's what makes a big federation miss capitals of other nations for its formables. Bolivar's ambition is the event that allows, or disallows the federation formable. This game would run fine on a quantum computer, basically. Alright, so Brunei backs down. We do see France going for South Cameroon. Conquer South Cameroon. Bro, what is this thing? We see France get it in. Oh, we've actually missed the opportunity to get it in ourselves. Damn it. We have an interest there, too. That's actually pretty bad. Maybe they already had it all. But in terms of times to go after Constantine, the thing is they're really gonna love going against us, but they're involved in another play. If we join on their side here, then they can't join against us when we go after Constantine, so we can get a free line into Constantine, kind of. So, do we want to go after Constantine now? I think actually we don't, because their primary war goal is going to be Constantine when we eventually fight them over this. And that they will have a much easier time grabbing than, like, they can just put on guys on a front, and then we can actually get it forced on sometime later down the road. So I think we don't want to do that. We'll take the Catholic Church, disfavored. They're happy right now, and we are going to marginalize them so fast after getting public health. Heads are going to spin. By the way, you're from Argentina, says Esteban. As you can guess from your combination of Spanish name and Italian surname. That'll do it. I wish free trade would work alike with LF, portion and control of convoys being portioned out of player control. Yeah, the entire convoy system also is like a very, very superficial abstraction, and I would like that to be more in depth. But I'm thinking that this might become more in depth with like spheres of influence, because like really like the convoys should not be something that's built and managed by the government, but the government should be able to influence them as well. Like the UK defending the massive like merchant convoys is like they don't actually own like all those boats. Instead they like facilitate. And so but also like coming into cultures, like I think entrepreneurial like attitude in your nation should actually heavily influence stuff, and I think that should be a cultural thing. And that's like, I don't know, well, I don't know how much you want to limit the player, because when you limit the player, you make the game like less fun as well. Does the book mention how close China was to industrialization before everyone else? It focuses solely on, I'm like maybe a fifth the way through it, but it does seem entirely focused on the UK, not industrialization writ large. But in what way was China super close? I'd be curious. I think we're just going to declare neutrality here. I think we want to, well, we have max amicable relations and we're in your customs union. Why are you being like this? Why you like this, girl? Or woman? I'm trying to use the word girl less. Mapping's kind of realistic though, up until modern times, which reflected this progress in tech. Yeah, but okay, then I want I want it to become much harsher, like the differences in PMs available, where the UK having industrialized or started industrialization and being able to, per worker, put out like 200 times the amount of textiles, because they have like mechanized looms, which they like had like mechanized stuff by this time. They would like, also fabric should be separate from clothing industries as well, like, but they had such an enormous advantage, and the UK does not have that enormous an advantage in like PMs relative to like the countries that it's shipping goods. Like one thing is they actually cracked down on India's ability to produce its own goods, I believe, just so they could like ship to them. I'm a little bit fuzzy on the details, but I wish electricity was not 100% local. It should be 100% local from a simulation perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, it sucks super hard, and I think they should revert it. That was, in the beta, day 1, that was the feedback I left, which was electricity feels really bad. Like, and to be fair, they implemented some, like, features which, like, allow you to mass swap PMs and then not swap all of them, and then also it will only swap if you have access to the good and like this type of stuff. And so like they've definitely made the UI a lot better, but it still sucks super hard for implementing you know, that stuff. And so I just assumed they didn't have it. Also, it doesn't work for transportation, so we can't. If we came in here and we tried to turn on rail transportation, it would let us turn on rail transportation for places that have no transport. So, or that's my understanding. To be fair, we also have urban centers producing a slight amount of transportation. So maybe there's like a bit confounding there. But like, for example, here. But like, having to, yeah, it like feels bad having to do this and then be like, oh, where is the transport super cheap? We see it's cheap here. Okay, well, we're gonna turn this on here. But like, this is like a tedious like play pattern, I think, and so, yeah. The Hoey community, so, yeah. In regards to mentioning the Hitler thing. Never heard about the Hitler thing with Vic 3. It, like, it feels a strange thing, like they're the same company that got Hoey for it. Yeah, but like, it's like different, it's kind of different eras. Hitler's probably a word that if I say on YouTube, it actually deprioritizes my thing, but, he who shall not be named, Mr. Big H, was around at the end of Victoria 3, and could have conceivably been like an agitator in the agitator mechanic. I think there's about a 0% chance that didn't come up in a discussion. You know, hey, what if we make the big guy big spooky? What if we made him a thing? An agitator. Like, there's no shot that was not discussed as a possibility, making him an agitator. The UK is gonna side against us, even though it doesn't make sense, and there's nothing we can do about it, so we can't go after Bolivia. And we could just check and see if they'll go after us, but like, we're literally just waiting on them to declare a play. Feels bad, man. I guess we could start going after some of these other guys. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think a dudette is a fine substitute for girl? Yeah, I also think chick is too. My problem's not with the flippancy of the word, it's that girl is infantilizing and you don't use boy. Like, colloquially speaking, I wouldn't have a problem with it if I also like referred to men as boy with any degree of consistency. But I don't, so yeah. Let's use the Africa army. So yeah, that's my problem with girl, is that it's infantilizing, and there's there's not a symmetric like thing for men, but like dude and chick I think are relatively symmetric. So PM unique to great powers, that'd be interesting. Yeah, or extra throughput or something like this, but like you could facilitate the conditions that would allow you to trade through the mappy, I think. I don't think I would want a removal of mappy. That's not what I'm saying when I'm talking about how mappy negatively affects trade. I'm saying that trade sucks because of mappy, not that mappy needs to be removed in order to make trade better. You could make trade better through other means. I think I'm okay with this. And I think other means would be preferable than just keeping mappy. I've been training myself, say, young woman instead of girl, unless you're talking about children. Yeah, if you're talking about children, absolutely girl, but like, that's not the context. There's like, oh my god, I forget her name, but George Lakoff's ex-wife, that I forget her name and refer to her by her husband is like, ironic. But she wrote an essay about the word girl, and I was somewhat convinced by it. That like the word is just not like. There's like two words that like I try and change like my usage on, and that's one of them. And overall, I think there's too much word policing. But I also think that people also give you funny faces if you use the term woman, and some people, like young women, don't like to be called woman because they think that you're calling them old or something, and like it gets you weird faces or stuff like this, but like it is what it is. To see a PM specifically to make Krakow harder than it is. Krakow should feel impossible, to be honest. If you go to local price for transport or electricity, you can only disable the electricity PMs, not enable them. Interesting. It gives you the option to reject PM change in whatever you would get if it would get less productivity. Yeah, but the tooltip lies and it doesn't understand. And also it will, if you build one electric plant, like the tooltip doesn't understand that demand is going to change price very well. And so the tooltip is very often wrong, and so you very often have to just do stuff manually or just tolerate stuff being not profitable or correct for like an extended period of time. So probably should have done that at like earlier. I'm trying to get better at putting in war goals at like half escalation so I don't blow my maneuvers load until I know who's actually going to be in the war, but that's kind of a little bit tedious. Call him Adolf and Elizabeth. That's spicy. Yeah, the entire UI is counterintuitive. Yeah, and I wouldn't hate being able to like subsidize stuff in a way that actually like is a subsidy. Like we generate like 100 golds towards, like, for every textile mill we give them 100 positive weekly balance, which will change equilibriums as well as encourage the private queue. I would like a mechanism like that too. Pop transportation and building transportation should be separated. Yeah, I mean, like, this PM used to cost transportation, not give it. is used to cost transportation and give services. Like, I think that, and they swapped this because this is a band-aid over the issue that local prices, in terms of actually executing them, suck super hard. And so this makes it not suck as hard because every place is going to get transportation kind of independent of the railroads and like this type of thing. But it's a band-aid over the larger issue, which is that, like, from a gameplay perspective, local goods, even if it's a good simulation, sucks really hard. And I'm not sure what to suggest. I think that they're saying, look, we want to make it a better simulation, we'll work on the UI, and I think that's fair, but it also really sucks. Slave trade might too. Essential UI mod is quite cool, but some of the features are overwhelming. You can check PMs without going into buildings. It's just straight in the state tab. It's probably an improvement. France decides they don't like us. Paradox should make an official game port so you can take your Victoria game right into Hoey. That would be sweet. I think they'll probably do that eventually, to be honest. But also, that type of thing would require... Actually, I don't think they'll do that, because that would require tons of ongoing support. Like, anytime you change either of those games, you would have to, like, redo that, like, piece of DLC. It'd probably be super buggy. Like, right now, the community designed ones of those things are just super buggy. You played as Prussia and exiled Bismarck after North German Fed. Is it a mistake? I don't know. It depends if you want Bismarck. I don't know if they're the only one listening to your content, but I keep thinking someone is opening and closing the front door. When I'm listening to your content, I keep thinking someone is opening and closing the front door. What? Are there door sounds in the background? Interesting. You're having trouble keeping up. The price of grain depressed as Shing. Well, I don't know what point of the game you're at. Eventually these become less efficient per pop, and your pops won't want to work in the rice farms. That's like really far down the road, though. I remember hearing someone say adult girls to refer to women. You know, so the other thing is I could start calling men boys. And I think I actually am somewhat intrigued by the proposition of calling men adult boys. I think that's funny. So you're saying there's a chance? No. We're having a hard time with public health insurance. We're going to use our one time for the stream. We're going to call our one time for the enacting public health insurance. So we should be able to get it. Because that's how a game works. But yeah, there's like, some of the conversations you can have around the gender thing are a little bit amusing. Like, some people will insist that dude is not gendered. Like the word dude. And it's usually guys who do this. And it's always funny to ask them, guys will insist that guy is not gendered. There we go, that's the one. And it's always funny to ask those guys, how many guys have you slept with? Because when you say it like that, it definitely sounds gendered. Do you remember when Vic was released? France made huge amounts of money because because this treaty port? Yeah, that was wild. Like, France just uber clapped, like, everything. Urban center is jank? Yeah, the urban center is, like, a weird abstraction. Turned into the Joker 3 times trying to form Krakow. I haven't done that one. I need to do it at some point. Well, I did Krakow into Poland, Lithuania before any of the content for it. I assume it's a little bit harder than it was then. Why are we getting so much progress? We gain it for being at wars. We need to own non-primary culture. We need to own more states. Got it. I think we should be able to reduce autonomy and annex Peru here in just a sec. And maybe the UK will let us do this. Maybe Mummy will say it's fine. I had to go ahead and fix the journal entry to actually do something. This is an option. Also, motor industry is unprofitable. All the planes leave because it's expensive. That's another thing. That PM is terrible. That PM really needs a buff. Or specifically automobiles, like, needs a huge buff. And it's... yeah. I think we have this on auto-expand. I mean, it's not fully employed, so it won't auto-expand. Bro. Gonna turn that off. We need the more pops. You know what would really help? Getting extra SOL from our institution we've been trying to pass this whole time. That would really help. Do we even have... how are we doing on peasants? Doing pretty good. We have some in Cordoba. So I think eventually we're going to want to transition into Cordoba a little bit. So why don't we build a tooling workshop here? Because our queue is idling, so trying to think what exactly we want to do here. Tools is always going to be kind of okay. I don't know if rubber appears in Cordoba. Clothes is also going to be generally okay, so why don't we put that on auto expand? And that should keep us going a little bit in regards to the auto queue. And then where else also has a good amount of peasants that is kind of in here. Buenos Aires, Paraguay and Buenos Aires, which is expanding some stuff. Fair enough. I think that we could make a textile mill here and put it on auto expand as well. And then probably can make a textile mill here. We'll do a little bit of that, and that should keep stuff going. Especially as we start to run out of labor, the textile mills will do a little bit better than the wood, but the wood will be acting as a population pull because of available employment. Around 1870s or so, a bit hard on the industrialization, militarization. Yeah, you might have not spread it out enough. I think it's probably an easy mistake to make on Qing, especially because you have closed borders. If you haven't opened the borders, I guess we probably don't really care about the war reparations, to be honest. Or probably care less about opening their market, so... They will accept here if we reduce the autonomy, which means we can annex Peru, which will help for the Paraguayan nation thing. So we are going to take a save, just in case Mummy wants to thumb our pie. And then we will go after Peru here. We maybe just high roll the 1%. No, we don't. Okay, and now we have the front. We can raise a lot of... That's a lot of conscripts. Not sure we want to raise that many, to be honest. Why don't we do some of this? And then these guys, we will just sit in the Paraguay HQ and try and defend. Most men are adult boys, me included. Yeah, it's just you never get called boy, or generally. And if you get called boy, there might be some like racial things going on. About opening the door sounds, maybe it's Vicky Through's mechanical. Oh yeah. When we click escape, or yeah, that makes sense. Now I want to hear General say something. Couldn't trick me. Yeah, man, what is this, dude? Bro. And we can't sway them. We can't just give them the Congo, right? Like, we can't just say, you know what, you have it. So frustrating. I mean, we thought that they likely joined anyways, but it was just like less likely, but is that the door sound? There's very different energy when a grown man calls another grown man boy. Yeah, that is a different vibe, like 100%. And to be fair, like, if you call young women, if you refer to them as women instead of girls, you will also get funny faces from the women. And so, like, maybe this is not something I should be concerned about because society at large, like, doesn't care. But, like, I think it's, like, it's 100% like an infantilization. Like, I think it might be, like, more problematic than, like, referring to women as bitches or something like this. Bitches is obviously derogatory, like, but it's, like, it's not, and it's insulting, but it's not, like, it is not, like, it doesn't have that infantilizing, element. I don't know. But I'm also so used to saying girls, like, it's not like I can, like, yeah, I can't just, like, it's too much of a habit as well. Dude, I use 100% for women, guys no. Yeah, dude, it generally seems a little bit more gender neutral. I would venture to say that the same sort of linguistic check where a guy says that dude is gender neutral, and then I ask him how many dudes have you slept with, like, I think that it still is semi-gendered, like, because man used to be seen as gender neutral, like, man is in referring to mankind, and now it's not. But also, like, having to use two words to refer to people, like, it would be nice if there was a one-syllable word to refer to people, like, guys, dudes. These are one syllable. Y'all is one syllable. I suppose maybe we need to get behind y'all more. I'd love to see you try an African nation game, maybe Horn of Africa. Bro, we just played Transvaal. What do you mean? We just played Transvaal. There's a Transvaal run ongoing. Do you not count Transvaal? I have migration controls, but went a bit far with the student change. Yeah. Just call them boys. N-word doesn't have an infantilizing element. Yeah, we don't say that one around here either. I used to have more mixed feelings on that. Not on, like, saying it, but it being so taboo that it's completely unsayable. Like, I think you just don't say it because it's, like, making people upset is, like, should not be your goal. And, like, I think that's kind of the only reason to say it. But also, like, the problems that African Americans have in America are not related to people using that word. They're related to, you know, like, actual significant, like, economic and cultural issues, rather than just, like, being called a name, like, but I mean, I guess you could take a stand on the name thing, which I don't know. I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to unpack all that. Historically, you is the second person plural, thou is the singular. There we go. Girl is normalized for use in polite company, bitches, and 100% agree with you. I definitely get it. But I'm just saying, like, if you're talking about what the word is, I think girl implies that women should be treated like children. No, it's because Transvaal is culturally European, that's what you meant. Yeah. No, this is fair. We're finally getting some mass migration. Bahu, Paraguay. Interesting that it's not to Santiago. I guess this is pretty built out. as well, though. Where our cap is here. Oh, we do have the rice farms they cannot employ. Sag. Boys and girls. Yeah, this guy's based. It's a good idea to put clothing furniture on auto-expand when you have laissez-faire. I ask because I prefer having the private industry do it, so you can focus on that. My opinion is that any auto-expansion is less efficient than managing it yourself, but is a concession to, like, playability. You know, in theory, we could pause, review our entire economy, review every state every single month, and we would make better decisions than the AI. And we would never put anything on auto-expand, and we would just be able to do that. You originally said plural and thou meant what you does now. Oh, you said it. Did I cancel myself? No. That's why girl is worse, because we treat it as normal to infantilize young women. Yeah, that's my opinion. And also, I definitely say it like more often than I would like. We have to bro. I'm not saying I'm perfect in this regard. I'm saying this is one of the things that I'm trying to get out of my vocabulary. I mean, there's a lot of words that are not in my vocabulary that I don't want in my vocabulary already, but I'm saying that girl is one that is in my vocabulary that I'd prefer it not be. What are we supposed to do here? Just... Bro, UK won't let us vibe, man. Just joins every war against us. If we're going against a European power, they just join every war. Is it really just Persia? It's always Persia, isn't it? Could do Oman into Persia. I don't think we land Persia. Oh, man. Maybe it's Tripoli. Maybe we save, protectorate these guys. It's probably fine. I feel like there's just like no, this is just completely opaque, and like there's no interaction to be had here with the UK just like joining against us, and they're not consistent. Yeah, well, they are consistently joining, but like we just can't declare on anyone who's recognized, I think. I think we add some more boats here as well and get up to a fleet size of 20 here, and then we'll be like perfect sized. Horn of Africa is a horrible region to play. Your only resource is wood, a total pain in the butt. What's up, Daddy Boss? Big Daddy Booze. Ever played CS? Counter-Strike? First-person shooters are not really my speed. The problem with the notion of the world girl infantilizing women is that it really depends on the culture. If the people who use that are affected by a word, it does not think like that. If the people who use it and are affected by a word does not think of it like that, it just does not. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not a native English speaking. I apologize, but I can't follow like precisely what you're saying here, which I think is somewhat what we would want to do, is try and be precise. I think that, yeah, I think the UK is going to let us do this, but I think language can have an effect even if people are not noticing the effect, and in the case of girl, there is a very obvious analog that doesn't get used when referring to men. But also, I'm not trying to say it's like, everyone doesn't use girl, or everyone uses girl. Like, it's incredibly common. Actually, that's not quite correct. I do know some people who are, like, are feminists that are pretty particular about not using girl, although I haven't gotten the argument from them, and like I think that there's a lot to unpack there, because feminism like is as a word or as a is like super at this point tainted, because everyone means something different when they say feminist. But that's like the only branch of people that have a strong opinion on this in my like experience. Okay, so it looks like we can get something done with Tripoli here. The Paraguayan nation, we're having trouble. We need to annex stuff. We really need to annex Peru here to make this event not fire. Bro, this is so suck. This is not it, man. Now compare with Baby Girl. Well, Baby Girl is like a very intentional... I think we win this. I think we will have to raise up the conscripts and defend against landings, though. And maybe we want some amount of the conscripts. Even though we're going to eat a landing malice. And then I think that if we're going to do this, maybe we get a few more boats. But like a Baby Girl is like very obviously like a... In the case of Baby Girl, it's very obviously like a term of endearment, and so I don't think baby is like infantilizing. Even that might sound like strange, but I don't think calling someone baby is infantilizing, because like it's not the case that we use baby to refer to, you know, infants, and also to refer to one specific gender and not the other. It's infantilizing because of the asymmetry. Also, men and women both get called baby, but it's infantilizing because people don't use boy to refer to grown men. But I would be completely fine. Maybe we're just supposed to give them Congo. Oh, they don't even want Congo, bro, but that's what you sided against us for. That makes no sense. Like, just give them Congo so we can go after Peru. I would be super fine giving them stuff to go after Peru. Like, it's just, yeah. But it's the eight, like, maybe I should just start calling men boy, is what I'm saying, but I think I'd get in a lot of fights doing that. Man of War is not good. They're a little bit more expensive. We're just trying to increase the navy size for the purposes of landing. I think we're going to build ironclad. I think we're just going to end up doing ironclads. Bro, we just keep having that event fire. Portuguese as feminism, Machism, literally translates. One is for equality, the other for gender superiority. Oh, interesting. Yeah, like, also, like, even talking from one feminist to another, they can have very different understandings of what feminist means. One person who identifies as a feminist, not who I'm labeling as a feminist. Sorry, your point was that you're not sure about girls specifically because it's not a native speaker. I think if you're not a native speaker and you're unsure about something, you should just consider it. It's probably not that big a deal. I get weird looks referring to younger women as women, and like in terms of socialization, I think it negatively affects my ability to interact with others. But I would rather just not infantilize women, so, independent of what they, yeah, I mean, like, there are definitely women who would prefer to be called girl, and I'm uncertain exactly how I'm supposed to handle that. But also, to some extent, you don't get to be in full control of what you get called. I don't get to dictate that people call me your handsomeness, no matter how handsome I am. So we'll add a couple in Cordoba because they're kind of. But in general, it can be a pitfall to take logic too far when it comes to language words. I 100% agree. At a certain point, you just need to like live and interact, but which is why I don't have a long list of words in my vocabulary I'm trying to change. It's relatively short. Like, it is basically just girl. There's like, I think one other. I think I'm trying to say sucks less and use unfortunate, which is like not one that is out of political correctness, but is, and to be fair, I'm pretty good about not saying sucks anymore, but I just don't like the word. When I was in your young 20s, I had a 50-year-old roommate that called me boy. I bet you hated it, though. But then they're absolutely, like, intending to infantilize you, right? It also could maybe just be a generational thing. And maybe maybe it's generational and, like, it used to be more okay to call a man boy, and now it's not okay. I don't know. Some guy calls me boy. It's not like I'm going to start a fight with him, but I'm probably not going to want to be around him very much. Your handsomeness, what do you do for work? I do this, or I'm trying to do this. I have money saved up to let me take a crack at this, and I have to get to making a certain amount of money for this to work, otherwise I'll have to explore other options, and then there will be much less content. I was kind of on the grad school track type thing before COVID for philosophy, with planning to teach in philosophy, but I got pretty disillusioned on that front. Because it's hyper competitive, and also I kind of dislike academic philosophy because I think it's too armchair, too ivory towery, not practical enough. And I think that a lot of the things that informed like earlier philosophy should be more of a thing. And then what's this? Okay. We'll have you deal with that. Time being. But another thing I was pursuing before it looked like I could maybe reasonably take a crack at this was personal training, although I haven't been going to the gym very consistently recently, because I am pretty strong, and I know about how to get strong pretty well, and so this is something that I could maybe... So we get Great Britain on our side here, but we can't start a play for the duration we're at here, so really just a bit of a tease, because we've been waiting for forever for the ability to... Alright, well, we care more about this. But it is a bit annoying that we get on the same side of a play as the UK now. Bro, this sucks. We really want to do the full, like, journal entry, but UK is just cramping our style. But yeah. You could have made your handsomeness a channel name. Bro, this is the strat. You know what you fix the issue? The creation of third-person, plural gendered words. Of third-person, plural gendered words. Aren't there... Third-person plural gender... Oh, I guess there are... Are there really not third-person plural gendered words? I know German is like a better language for referring to gender, generally, if I recall correctly. Which I might not. I often don't, but... Your admiral doesn't have enough squadron limit? Thank you for letting me know. I miss these details a lot. Wait, no, he has a ton of squadron limit. We actually really have to dodge a fight because we have max admirals though, which means that each fight we would only have like 6 boats in, which is kind of obnoxious. You weren't gonna argue because you're in your 20s and you were pretty boyish. Yeah, that's fair. Also, it might have been a little bit of a different time. Bro, can we get this public health insurance? Can we get this bread? Please? Bro. What's your bench? My bench is like my worst lift, but it's like 345 is my best. I dropped out of the grad school track for sociology for much the same reason, yeah. And so, like, to be fair, like, COVID, I didn't have a lot going on. I wrote a book. I was trying to get that picked up. I couldn't get it picked up by a publisher or by an agent to, you know, take to a publisher. And so, then I mean, I've been making videos on YouTube for a while, but not gaming ones. And then I eventually was like, well, if I'm playing video games, I might as well make videos too. And then the gaming channel was the one that got traction relative to the other channels, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess we'll go with this. But what's the bench in kg? Like 155, roughly. Looks like the UK is going to handle that one for us. Maybe they will retain... So now they're protective of us because we're on the same side. What if we... I don't want to owe them... If I owe them an obligation, I can't declare war on my own subjects. Which is kind of annoying. But my squat's much better. My squat's 675. Your favorite philosophers are Russell and David Deutsch, and the one's a mathematician, the other one's a physicist. I mean, I like... actually, I'm familiar with Russell. I don't know if I would say I like Russell. Russell was... analytic philosophy was initially very much my speed, and then it's now much less my speed. We maybe wanted to put war goals in on Italy, but I think this is fine that we don't. Oh, what the hell happened here? Wrong HQ? Bro. Gotta pay attention, I guess. I guess we don't care about opening their market, and they'll accept this, and then that'll get this out of here. Yeah. Britain versus the Dutch East Indies. If we have a defense pact with the UK, the problem is we can't declare on Peru. But I think it's the undertone, the way you say it, when it sounds like you're trying to denigrate someone when you call them, that comes across even if the word's not an insult to them. Yeah, but I think words have like both the direct meaning and then like a lower level meaning too. And like they have significant like prolific issues, but on the other hand, I'm like super people should be allowed to say what they want and language shouldn't be policed. Like I believe very strongly language shouldn't be policed, but that it should be significant, but that it is significant, but that like that it's more a personal choice. How and why did you write a book? I mean, it took a while, writing about 1,000 words a day. And to be fair, it's like not fully complete because you're actually supposed to, for nonfiction, you're supposed to get the agent before you write the book. So I did things about order, but it's like 70,000 words, and it's on attention. Although I'm not really that well equipped to summarize my book in a way that feels very succinct. But the general thesis was that if there is a side at which we have free will, so this is definitely in the realm of philosophy at the start, that side is our ability to control our own attention. And if that is the case, how do we control, give ourselves a sense of agency? Ooh, France, suck it. How do we give, actually just like entirely of Europe's kind of on fire right now. how do we create a sense of agency, or how do we create actual agency out of just the mere, like, narrow band of being able to control our own attention? And so it starts out very philosophic, and then it leans more self-help towards the end in kind of a transitional matter where it's just concerning the subject of agency and how we become an agent in this world. Not everyone can read or project tone and subtext equally, so using neutral and respective language in professional and public context is good. I agree, but sometimes, like, you want to be more aggressive with language as well. But it's a good default, or it's certainly sensible. It depends on it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be edgy, then you gotta be a bit edgy. I'm not very edgy, I don't think. I think I have a lot of controversial opinions, but I don't think I'm, like, edgy. I think when I voice my controversial opinions, I'm generally trying to be transparent. And it always makes me a little bit uncomfortable when I do it. And I'm, like, not always trying to start a conversation about the thing. I'm just trying to express my position. And then, like, halfway through expressing it, I'm like, why am I talking about this? It's like, there's, like, nothing good that comes from this. Yeah. 335 pounds equals 151 kg. So it'd be 155 kg would be my... Why not just Google kg math? For me? Well, because I'm busy. So we have a little bit of a decision point here. We have way more wood, but I think we're actually starting to get away from the wood a little bit. I mean, we do have it all auto-expanding in the queue, but maybe we want to start leaning into the iron a little bit, which is going to be much more pop efficient as we start to run out of pops here. The infrastructure per 100k pop is kind of nice, though. We wouldn't hit the prosperity bonus, at least initially, but we can just keep exporting. Eventually, we will get in the rubber. I mean, eventually, I think we want both of these companies. I think we're going to take the iron one here initially, and what we're going to do is we're going to put every place down that has iron. We're going to put one iron down, and now we're going to put all the iron on auto-expand. Oop. Well, I guess, yeah, let's do this, and let's also export iron now. Like, we're exporting wood. And iron's going to generally be a lot more resilient to us running out of labor than wood is. Wood falls off really hard when you run out of labor. We can go Mac workshops. I'm not sure how good I think it is. We kind of just want to get more progress. I think it's okay. It's not as good as it used to be. Just want to get more progress in that direction. And hopefully, we'll take a save after this. Hopefully UK will have a positive attitude towards us, like, exiting this. My favorite dude is that drunk dude from the last frat party, said no dude ever. You've not heard of Diogenes. The people who like the drunk dude from the frat party, their favorite philosopher is Diogenes. Famous for some absolute banger quotes like, in a rich man's house, there's no place to spit but in his face. A lot of people like Diogenes. He's the uber subversive, why don't you live in a barrel? He lived in a barrel in Athens. And he was like, very hardcore about stuff. He actually encountered Alexander the Great. And the way the story goes is that Alexander the Great was like, look, I've heard of you. I want to give you anything you want because you're such a great philosopher. And then Diogenes responded, what you can give me is you can move out of my way. You're blocking the sun. as Alexander controls basically all of Greece under the flag of Macedonia. He's like, step off. You're blocking the sunlight, bro. Alright, so are you gonna stay protective is the thing. And if you're not, we're gonna be sad. I think we're supposed to annex. We're also like really cranking on the Paraguayan nation, so we really have to acquire more states that are not homeland. Sucks that our guy couldn't pick up the naval landing. They might have landed in Uruguay, which is kind of a bit of a pain to cover both. Do you think you could defeat Bolivia before UK lands? You mean Peru? Or Bolivia? No, because they would just put guys on the front. Same with Peru. They'll just put them on the front if they side, so it's just completely untenable. And we just have to hope that, like, this protective attitude maintains and they don't join against us. But this is also super asinine. So, like, they were cautious. They joined a war on our side. Now they're protective. And so now they're just going to feel differently about it until the game updates and they turn cautious again. Or maybe they don't turn cautious again. And it's like, bro, this seems like a little extra. The issue for me with that is that the thesis tends to be lost on the basis, then is God real or not, and it kind of pisses me off, not gonna lie. Whoa, where's this coming from? Oh, no one talked about the existence of God. I mean, this is like what every argument you learn about in philosophy is like regarding, so it's like not super left field, but like every argument you study is, does God exist or not? Because that's, in the history of Western philosophy, that's what people were most interested in. Oh, you're talking about free will. You can believe in free will and not believe in God. Or you can believe in God and not believe in free will, or you can believe in God and believe in free will, and you can also not believe in God and believe in free will, or not believe in it. There's like positions for all of them. You could also think that, yeah, there's a lot of nuance in like the free will discussion, but yeah, we can't owe them an obligation, otherwise it's going to be impossible to get them to side. But look here, now we get the UK doesn't thumb our pie at all, and Brazil loves us. They're loyal, bro. But bro, we also had max relations with the UK this entire time. Just to be clear, there was not a way we could improve. I want to talk about calculators. Do you think adding an in-game calculator would be good for the game? I know some management games that have it. For what? I guess I don't know what you mean by an in-game calculator. Like something that, like, the ability to do multiplication? Like I could just click this and it would open up a calculator? Or you mean calculating stuff, various variables in the game? Because the game does a bunch of calculations for you, right? We don't have to look at our buy and sell orders and calculate the price ourselves. Would you ever consider doing a Sweden tech-focused run? I would love to see that. Forming Scandinavia can make you #1 GDP. You run into like significant pop problems as Scandinavia. I mean, we've played Scandinavia. It's also, I don't know what you mean by tech-focused run, I suppose, as well. What is not currently? Where are our free units coming from? I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know exactly what a tech-focused run would have. Yes! There we go, baby. We can finally have a legitimate-looking government now. We can stop this. We can start suppressing the caudillos. We can swap all the PMs from being secular. And since we just passed a law that they like, I think we should just be able to go total separation off the back of this. And they're not even mad. We got away with it. A little bit tempting to join on their side, just to help foster good relations. I think we'll hold off for that. I really hate how, if there is a naval battle conflict, it takes forever to do this. And also, another reason why 3v3v3 to me is a little bit unattractive is you can prevent every single naval landing in 3v3 right now by just cycling in a one boat against the landing just repeatedly, which is just a weird, like, sort of micro. Alexander was like, if it wasn't Alexander the Great, I would love to be Diogenes of Sinope, basically. I think he was even like, even though I'm Alexander the Great, I would prefer to be Diogenes of Sinope. And Diogenes said, if I weren't myself, I would also love to be Diogenes of Sinope. Yeah, basically. Why is the pop consumption of fruit so low? Because you've built a bunch of... You're playing Qing right now, Mr. Marcos. And you have a bunch of rice farms. And you're using the secondary PM that produces fruit. And pops don't produce on the basis of... they don't consume on the basis of what's cheap or expensive. They consume based on what's in the market. And so you have a market that has a ton of fruit in it. And so they consume more fruit. Would you ever play an RTS game like Men of War? I actually really like Age of Empires. I haven't played or made any content for it because I'm not very good. And like, yeah. The issue is the debate from Greek culture today is very different from Greek culture then. Yes, 100%. And Macedonian even more exacerbated. It's just a soft power dick measuring contest. Interesting. I've never found a coherent definition of free will. There really isn't one. Because, like, so a lot of people tend to walk past each other, or they tend to present arguments that kind of just go past each other, where one person will be using a more colloquial definition and one person will be using a more absolutist definition. So, like, Sam Harris he wrote a book on free will, and he's somewhat... you can recognize the name in the cultural milieu or whatever. Sam Harris makes the argument that, like, because you did not control, your life situation, you weren't in control of your environment and the things that happened to you, and you also weren't in control of your genetics. You chose both, and those both, like, causally determine what all of your actions will be. There's no, like, source of, action from you, that because of this, you don't have free will. And on one hand, from a theoretical perspective, I get his perspective, but, like, if you're talking about a colloquial sort of perspective, when people are talking about, hey, I get to choose my own actions, that doesn't fly, because, like, if I were to, like... If I take this highlighter and I throw it across the room and I ask, why did that happen? The right answer would be, oh, it's because you threw it. And it's like, well, why did I throw it? Oh, you chose to. Like, that would be a reasonable kind of response. But what Harris's, like, understanding of free will would necessitate us to be, I'm not responsible for that highlighter throw. It was, my biology and my environment that made me throw that highlighter, not me myself. I didn't have the free will to do it. I'm ultimately not responsible. And then it's like, well, okay. Then if it wasn't me, it must have been my parents, right? Because they gave me both my environment and my biology. But then we go back to my parents, and it's like, well, with them, they're not truly responsible either, right? Because they didn't choose their biology or their parents. It's like, oh, okay, well, then we go to my parents' parents. And you're starting to see, it's like an infinite regress when we're referring to responsibility. And so, to be fair, if you're, like, being highly theoretical, like Harris is, like, I think his argument makes a lot of sense. But if you're, like, talking from a perspective that's, like, practically speaking, you would have this infinite regress, and it wouldn't be my parents' 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 parents. It would be something preceding the Big Bang, I know not what, is the cause of this. But if I were to ask, why was that highlighter flying across the room? The answer, something preceding the Big Bang, I know not what, is completely unacceptable as an answer. Even if you think it's true, that's like, it doesn't fundamentally answer my question, right? My question's about responsibility and cause and like this type of thing. And so what you see a lot, in my opinion, in the free will discussion is a bit of a bait and switch with regards to what people mean by cause. If they mean like an absolutist sense of cause, meaning that this is fully explained by the phenomena, or if they mean like a sort of practical definition of cause, which the practical understanding of cause is that I threw the highlighter. So yeah. As a mixed race Macedonian Swede, it's a heated debate. Yeah. Oh my god, FYRON person. Alright, you guys are just vibing in there. It's a football player that played, okay, football but not American football. We don't know those. Okay, so the question is are we going to decay? So now we're getting very little progress, but we still have to annex even more territory, bro. I think we just have to try and peel territory off of Bolivia, huh? And we take Jujuy, Alto Paraguay, and here. We had to know about this journal entry beforehand, because I think we would have handled stuff a lot differently too. Is there anything else we can annex? We're gonna take a save, but we don't have any annexable subjects. So maybe we just go after Bolivia and try and get this journal entry to start ticking down on the Paraguayan nation. I don't think I don't think we're gonna get it to start ticking down. We have more. Blah. So we had to like play differently. How do we annex as many different states as possible here? Alright, Jujuy, Alto Paraguay, Chacao. Jujuy, Alto Paraguay, Chacao. To be fair, we could try. So I think we do this and then we do this and look at our pretty colors. Jujuy, Alto Paraguay. Which one of these is the most populated? Jujuy, okay. Actually, we would have been okay with them backing down, huh? Alright, UK is now leaning towards our side, completely reasonable. Brazil's joining us too, but they're a Dominion, so I don't know why we sometimes get access, we sometimes don't. Yeah. Also, why is Generalist always so behind the chat? It's really odd, because I'm trying to respond to every single one and also trying to play the game. It's a little bit rough. If I ignored some of your messages, or if I so the thing is at a certain point I actually should be just ignoring more messages, but I like kind of don't want to do that too. So, yeah, I mean I could just ignore more messages. At a certain point this is actually how you approach it, right? So. Let's actually do one less here. And then the landing squad. Is the second Paraguayan army. Why do these guys have... Where are the Lancers coming from? We just have, like, invisible Lancers, because it says too many. And it's a 2 and 2 stack, but we're going to merge these... And it says 3 over here. So something about that UI is just bugged, but we're going to merge with the second Paraguayan, and we're going to give them this line. And this. Something like that. But yeah, like, I mean, people are here to watch me play the game, not just talk about the game, so... I'm not even sure we win this, to be honest. I mean, it says they're worried, but I feel like... I don't know if we win this. Yeah. But I think we could try and get the landing off and see how this goes, at the very least. Generalist is really bad compared to most. The truth hurts, but maybe he hasn't tweaked software. Maybe his delays like 30 seconds or software. I do have a delay on top of like the thing. So like watching my stream, I'm just like I'm currently still merging armies. Like if I watch like what my stream delay is, and so like I think it's like, yeah. Could also be slow at reading chat. The truth hurts. I asked before this. I zoned out, but what's your opinion on the U.S. school system? I skipped over that one. Or I, like, not intentionally, I meant to get back to it. I think we joke a lot about it in Europe, but it's time for a reform, perchance. I'm not a fan of the United States school system, yeah. You would have to say something specific, or, like, ask a more specific question, I think, to, like, get a more specific answer, but, we're not going to protectorate them. But in general, I think that the system's not very good. Because... How do I want to put this? I think that it doesn't teach... it's just trying to teach kids a bunch of information rather than teaching them how to think. And the point at which information is like particularly useful, we are no longer at that point in society anymore. And now, we're gonna have this fat 70 stack to go into, aren't we? Alright. So we're raising all those conscripts. Hopefully that works out. But I think there should be more of an emphasis on critical thinking, and because knowing information is no longer like useful in society, really. I mean, it's like somewhat useful, but it's not what it's about. It's about because with the internet, everyone has access to all the information, like pretty easily. I think that we. We have a little bit of a problem here. We do not have an army defending against naval invasions. I guess we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, like, but I've also like seen the criticism of people saying we aren't talking enough, or sorry, we aren't playing enough, we're just talking too much, and it's like, well, you can't do both. Or, well, I'm talking the whole time, but I mean responding to chat, talking. And so, yeah. Lower the speed a little bit. Also, I hate misplaying and definitely do that a lot when we're focused on this stuff. One way to end the philosophy department is to answer with, well, but I don't care. Yeah, but I think that a philosophy degree is more a degree in critical thinking than, or like, this is how you should think about a philosophy degree, and I think that's useful. But you learn a lot of arguments that are, like, philosophy doesn't really scaffold as, like, something like mathematics does, where learning what you learned in, like, the early, like, philosophy courses doesn't necessarily, like, it's not essential knowledge, but, like, starting to understand how arguments are formed and, like, this type of thing is important. Bro, is he gonna come in and clap us with this navy? No, that's an army. So, it looks like we get in here. We do want to make, yeah, La Paz is primary. Are you religious? I'm non-religious, but I'm also, like, as far as, like, atheists go, which I think is probably the fairest description, I'm much less, of the opinion that people should be atheists as well, or that, like, religion's bad or something like that. I'm pretty neutral on the whole affair. Liberalism and no free will philosophy don't get along too well. The thing is most people who think that there's no free will have some sort of, like, practical rejoinder that, like, they are okay with behaving as if they had free will, so it doesn't really actually impede other philosophies too well. I don't believe in free will, but I believe that society should assign responsibility to people to be successful. The positions are not contradictory. So, like, Sam Harris's position is that people should be punished as much as that punishment can act as a deterrent, but to the extent it can't act as a deterrent, people shouldn't be punished. So if something's not a deterrent, then you don't punish people. I'm curious about humanity. I even minored about the study of religion during a first degree, but I find I'm mainly materialist as I get older. A lot of, I think materialism is kind of the most predominant position in philosophy. Okay, I think that maybe we use these guys to protect against landings. It's kind of grim, though. Maybe we just can't win this war. It's looking pretty rough. Alright, so you can't borrow on offense, it seems to me. So we're actually gonna switch every guy to defend, unless we have a guy with a good stat. He has offensive planner. He's a defensive strategist, so he shouldn't even be attacking anyway. Woodland combat expert is probably fine, so maybe we can do this. And then I think we're gonna peel off a lot more conscripts with these guys, but we're gonna peel them off from Africa. Something like this, and I guess it'll be a little bit slow going, but what I really hate is they should have no supply access because we cut off the one access to the port, but it doesn't matter. They're really decaying down pretty fast, though. So maybe they've lost a lot of battles. People's actions are shaped by their incentives, so you have to design those incentives carefully. Yeah, so the most people who don't believe in free will still believe that in punishment, insofar as it is a deterrent, and that's kind of... I think if you think free will doesn't exist and the people ultimately aren't responsible for their actions, but punishing them for them, yeah, it doesn't make too much sense. But are we winning battles here? Oop, let's also check our mobilization options. Yeah, let's get the extra supplies. Let's get the chocolate. Let's get the opium. Let's get it all. No medicos. These guys, we actually would want to have the faster landing stuff. I always forget to turn those things on, but hopefully that'll help a little bit. I'm just here for the chatter, to be honest. That's fair. But if there's no free will, people's actions are shaped by nothing. No, they're shaped by the material, like, conditions around them. You're just in a film going by. Yeah, that's the position some people have. Also, some people have the position that we're like in a simulation that's like constructed by our brains, and like we're not really escaping the simulation in a sense, or like we're not going to escape. Little Constantine getting that next action. Oh, what was I trying to say? In some sense, it's like a movie passing you by, but in another sense, it's such a realistic simulation that you just give up to the simulation of free will. So you act as if free will existed, even though you think it doesn't, because the simulation's so strong, and that we're living in a like simulated reality, but it's not a problem. I know what I'm gonna do. Spain has no defenders, do you? AI sucks at this game. And can't deal with you doing this type of stuff. Oh, Trench Rat. Hell yeah, brother. We're gonna recruit Trench Rat on the African army guy. Whoa. Wow, we get these uber good generals. Maybe we wait until we actually have a different army we want to put them in. But we're gonna try and land España while defending here. Hopefully they don't try a naval landing on us while we're doing this. We're gonna do some of this action. We do want to increase our health institution. Just checked in. Have you gotten multiculturalism yet? Not yet. Part of high school here in Portugal is philosophy and theology. I had that idea, but thanks anyways. Interesting. Education is not even a right in the USA. You could technically be actively denied it. I'm pretty sure you have to send your kids to school or have them in homeschooling. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Yeah, so we're actually going to win just because we're going to cheese out them up here. Unless they move their navy back, which I guess they should, but if they move their navy, we'll just come and land the other side instead. Just keep repeatedly just moving around. They can't intercept a navy while it's in motion. Everyone knows that if a boat's in motion, you're not allowed to touch it. You must be in education until you're 18, or you have to be homeschooled. I work in healthcare, and that's 100% true. You can memorize lab values and other numerical data, but if you don't know what to do with it, it's useless. Critical thinking over everything, yeah. So basically the passage of data to information to knowledge, I'd say this is really understudied in obligatory education. Yeah, it's also harder to teach critical thinking than it is just information. But like that's the skill that so yeah, knowing a bunch of information used to be useful. When if you didn't know something, you would have to go to the library, look stuff up on a Rolodex, pull out a bunch of note cards, figure out where it was, and accessing the information would take several hours. But that's no longer the case. It no longer takes that long to access information, and so now it's time for Spain to get clapped. Now with the access to things that will give you information instantaneously, knowing the information is not really important. It's just your ability to access it. Let's maybe... How are we doing on these pushes? Not great. Alright. 3.6 Ronkin, not terrible, not great. We're just going to defend everywhere as we're starting to get pushed back. And then this is where the clappeting happens. And now... we should see an exodus of at least one big stack. Oh, the 70 stack's not even on here, and we're still getting bodied? That's not ideal. I wonder why we're decaying them down so much. We have almost all the war goals, we just need Alto Paraguay. Also, since, like, recent update, it does feel like this does absolutely nothing, like moving the thing. Hopefully we can actually decay this down once we do the things. We do see this is their navy coming for us, so we are gonna have to roll out Autobots. So we don't win that fight. This is also has always been our plan, and is another reason why we're not building heavies, because we're just planning on piecing out. This wasn't my critique. My critique was the difference in time between sending messages and messages answered. I should have just, like, not read that for forever. That would have been funny. But, like, I understand you, but, like, yeah. I don't know. We could have a just chatting stream. I think nobody would show up. Because also super willing to chat when we're playing other games. But, like, when I've been streaming Dominions, I've been getting, like, much less viewers. So I think there's a large portion of the people who are watching that are not chatting, that are more here for watching me play, if that makes sense. And the people who are chatting are much more likely to be biased towards the importance of chat rate than the people who are here to watch me play and talk about the game. If that makes... yeah. I don't know how to define free will in a falsifiable way. I don't think, yeah. If you figure out a way, let me know. A way that people would agree on. Generally, I think the way it's defined is such that you couldn't possibly have it. And so often there's like, it feels like a little bit of a bait and switch, but... okay. Now we're on all defend. How much is this Spain's army here? They have a 23 stack. We have a 46 stack. We should be able to push into them. But Spain's pushing us right now. Yeah, so... but once we get Spain out, which we should relatively quick, because of this... because of reasons, we should be able to tidy up the rest. And Spain's still not budging. They're not moving anyone off of here. I think these guys are like the bugged out thing where it says they're one place but they're really another place. Yeah, look at this. The army says here, but they're at the Paramatagrasso front. So you get this a lot. It's just kind of a bit frustrating. Boats in motion tend to stay in motion, fact. It's not like you're going to be carrying around a calculator everywhere. Yeah, basically. But I bet the teachers aren't saying that to their students anymore. To be fair, like, yeah, I think that interpersonal communication should be taught more than, like, the higher level math at this point, because you can often find programs to do the exact math you want done for you. They don't have a shot at, like, conquering Santiago at this point, so I think we're in decent shape. Did it bother anyone else that the Autobots were from another planet but had human car shapes? How do you know those aren't alien car shapes? How do you know that the Autobots didn't just send designs to humanity through divine intervention of some sort? No, that's definitely a thing. I mean, when I start thinking about, like, games and movies and that type of stuff in that way, usually my first thought is, why does everyone speak English? This doesn't make sense. There should be a massive language barrier. Just play a recorded game solution. Wow, that'd be wild. Just like a recording of me and then like playing and then me talking over and narrating it while reading chat. I guess I could do that. That's like not insane. That's like, I mean, it's a little bit wild. It would also take me twice as long for everything, right? Because I would have to make the content and then... Alright, so now we're going to play a little bit of evasion here. Whatever front this guy gets on, we're going to occupy a different front, and then we're going to have to re-land, so... But we still don't have that good a thing here. Non-negotiating participants. How bad do you want out Spain? Kind of bad. So that's kind of what we're waiting for, because the 72 stack is definitely on the Paro Matagrasso front. This, like, visually is, like, it... we're gonna take a screenshot this and maybe complain about it on the Discord. But this, like, this visually is actually so frustrating to play around, because, like, you actually don't know where the armies are, because, like, sometimes they just randomly park in the middle of nowhere, or are even seemingly defending the homeland, and then they're not. Oh yeah, it looks like we're just gonna get a full occupation here. I wonder which one he's headed to. If we can make it to wherever he's headed first. So on these guys, we actually definitely want forced march or rail transport, which gives more formation speed. Yeah. The only thing that matters here is speed. So, but he's maybe going over, oh, hopefully he's trying to get to this one. If he's trying to get to this one and we push it out before he gets there, that'd be really good. If he's trying to get to this one, oh, maybe he's given up. I can respect that. I think I can respect that. I take what I've said. I'm here for chatter and victory. Yeah, the people who are more likely, yeah. I'm trying to be aware of, like, the self-selection bias, which is that the people who are chatting are more likely to care about the chatting than the people who are not chatting. The people who are silently just vibing and watching the game get played. Really hoping that this will be a decay once we finally finish up this war instead of a progression. I don't know how we could have done it better. Or, well, we definitely could have done it better. I don't know. Avoiding this war would also be preferable, but... But now we should be able to push pretty easily. And also, we can re-land... Wait, where'd our army go? Okay. We can re-land these guys here. And then I think we want a second guy pushing, and I think we had another guy with offensive or something. Woodland Planner's probably going to be decent on offense, considering Woody. It's Woody up in this bizzle, so we'll get a few. Starting to get some pushes off. Just need to take La Paz or the other stuff. We are having some convoy problems. We'll just add a couple ports where we're starting to get a little short on infra. I know those will take forever to build, but it's better than building railroads, and it'll, yeah, the turmoil, whatever. I think if we would kind of want a police institution. What law are we passing now? Total SEP? That makes sense. Come for victory, stay for the philosophy, and wee-woos. Based. A man of culture, I see. Philosophical wee-woos is my new band name. Not gonna lie, that kind of slaps. Philosophical wee-woos. To woo or not to woo? That is the question. We didn't want those battles going for those territories. Please only do battles for Alta Paraguay. I'm pretty sure strategic objective does nothing now. I think they broke it with 1.5. I've noticed very, very little correlation between where we have the strategic objective and where we're getting in. Alright, so these guys, also because you don't borrow troops on offense, we will set these guys to defense. I'm pretty sure you're not borrowing troops on offense. I suppose we could take a look here. But it does seem to be the case that you don't borrow troops on offense, which makes having a bunch of subjects actually like not ideal. Because they're just gonna brick a lot. Bro. We're gonna get the Paraguayan nation while we're finishing up this war. That's the entire reason we did conquer instead of dominioning them, is so we could maybe dodge that. Yeah, this guy's just gonna get clapped and eliminate our progress, and then... Alright, we are making progress into La Paz. Notably, not attacking here where we have our strategic objective, instead attacking La Paz. So, might as well Huzzah! Total separation. Big nice. I don't think we go laissez-faire yet because of the bug. I think we could go no home affairs. Do we have any political movements? Professional army. We're not going to enact that at this point because we want, as long as Age of Cadillos is active, I think we don't want that. We go rights of assembly here. And then I think we are going to stop suppressing the armed forces as well. And then we can add more construction. Ika, sure. Let's add in those places. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but yeah. Top 10 bands whose names sound like diseases. Philosophical wee-woos. I love how humanity think about how free will exists or not. Whatever it was gave humanity intelligence boost. Regrets it. Crazy laugh. Yeah, yeah, I think that the frame at which you're operating, like the type of knowledge that you need or proof that you need, like the underlying framework is more significant a question than whether or not free will exists, and it tends to just sidestep that question the entire discussion. Like, what things are eligible for like knowledge and like what is the nature of knowledge is going to determine like how our definition of free will is, such that we can either have it or not. I'm of the camp that it doesn't really matter whether it exists or not. You're like or that the conversation's just like not it's not I don't think it's a substantive point for philosophical inquiry really too much on like the meta-analysis, because I think if free will does exist or doesn't exist, it doesn't matter what you do or what you think. And if it does exist, then you should probably just believe in it. I think practically speaking, pragmatically speaking, you should believe in it, but from like a game theory perspective, more so than like an actual philosophical inquiry perspective. Oh, thank God. That was a ton of infamy, and are we going to decay out on this is the question. We own more non-primary culture homelands. Oh, is that our primary culture? No. Okay, let's think. We could tank our prestige. We could delete universities and government buildings. We have to just prepare for this ahead of time, I think. I think there's no shot we could reload to like an hour and a half ago. But I guess you just have to take a ton of non-homeland states. The problem is those are considered homeland states, I guess. Well, I'm so bummed we can't do the things. To we or to woo? That is the question. What is the bug with laissez-faire? Your private sector is going below 35%. So what normally the way it's supposed to operate is... Ooh, what is this? The way it's supposed to operate is that whatever proportion of the private queue that is being paid for by the investment pool, or whatever the percentage here, is supposed to match the percentage of goods. So you notice The investment pool is paying for 30k worth of goods. We have a total of 100k worth of construction goods. And so the private queue should get access to 30% of the queue. They are not. They're getting access to the max percentage of the queue as dictated by interventionism, which is 50%. Under laissez-faire, it's 75%. This is really frustrating because it really takes away a lot of control for you, the player. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait until we have like 1,000 construction before going laissez-faire. Otherwise, we won't get to dictate how our economy looks, because the only thing we will be able to build is like basically government administrations and some etc. And if we expand, normally, yeah, they're only paying for 30k, but they're getting 50k worth of control. Is the way to think about it. And this bug's not always on, but it's most of the time on. There's some conditions under which it's not triggered, but I don't know what those are, so I can't speak of them. So, sucks that we can't get this to be decaying down. Or maybe it's because we already partially controlled. Yeah, Jujuy was the only new state. Maybe that was a mistake. We also didn't take the most important state, Antofagasta. God, that sucks. Yeah, this is so inevitable at this point. So I guess we're just gonna have to do it all natural. Oh, we're also gonna really have to actually fight France and these guys for this stuff. We were not supposed to reduce Brazilian autonomy. Mechanized looms is so good. I think we start slingshotting our way towards rubber mastication, but we have to remember to not... Oh wait, no, we can't slingshot it. Let's start slingshotting dynamite. And then we'll do steam donkey, and then we'll do rubber mastication and vulcanization. So we're not gonna, like, finish attack for some time. Yeah. Sociology of Knowledge was one of my favorite undergrad courses. Sociology of Knowledge. That's an interesting way of putting it. Alright, so let's take a save and see if we can peel off Venezuela, maybe. Actually, we just want to be in chill mode for a little bit. A hot bit. Belungen. Will you be willing to reduce the autonomy? You are not. How about you? No. How about you? No. Nobody's willing to have their autonomy reduced. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe you could get humiliated by someone? Yeah, that's... We could also spend all this authority and then... You've weed your last woo. Also do this. This is the easier way. To tank. Hey! The problem is this is just a temporary solution. And they've nerfed your ability to do this. You can't, you can no longer declare it, and so there's now a cooldown on it. If we declare a rivalry, we can't undeclare it for some time. But this slows it down. So you're saying there's a chance. So what we're going to need is we're going to need to annex some of these other subjects. I guess we should have done that a while ago, just tanked our Diplo. We do not want to be at war. War gives us plus progress here. It's need any war. Are the labor-saving PMs worth it if you have a high amount of unemployment like China? No. If you have unemployment, do not use labor-saving PMs in the same states you have unemployment unless, like, no, yeah, you just, like, categorically shouldn't be doing it. Lower government spending to reduce prestige? Oh, we could do that too, huh? Yeah, eat shit. To be fair, we also don't hate some of that stuff. We're about to become a minor power. We're gonna take a save here, because sometimes the game's buggy about killing your ability to have subjects if you become a minor. We might not be able to decay it so much to become a minor, but we'll see. We'll take the minus chance for the... In theory, this is something we could game a lot more frequently as well, where we could, before really, really high infamy type things, we could, like annexing Brazil, we could decrease our prestige or our power rank. Expand more in Africa. Those are non-homeland states. I guess we could take like Zulu. The problem is being at war progresses this too. But now we're talking. We've tanked the prestige. Okay, so like what I want to do is I want to annex this. We can take a save and go take Zulu maybe. I don't think it'll take us too long to take Zulu. We don't want to get caught up in a really long war. But it's so not worth the amount of infamy it cost. Let's maybe take Kutai. Let's just annex Kutai. Yeah, I think that this will be fine for us. And then also Sintang will also be reasonable. But now, I think we... Oh, we're still not at war until the war pops? Okay, this is going to be good for us. The question is when we decrease in power rank, will we lose all of our subjects? If the answer to that's yes, we reload. The wars are bad. Sociology of knowledge deals with the relationship between knowledge and how social context it arises or changes, how knowledge is transmitted, the effects on society. That does sound interesting. You said you got this at a high school course? Man. Or maybe you're not the one who is from Portugal. A little hard to keep track of everyone. I don't think we can add... Yeah, we can't add anything else. But this is our landing squad, so we'll raise the conscripts and we'll get them ready to go. I'm going to do rapid advance on all of them. So we get to land a little bit faster. Now the problem is once we get good enough relations with these guys, once we get to 50, it will kill this like Diplo tank, prestige tank, so, which is, Intelligentsia are no longer powerful, you don't say. Maybe it's because we took away all their money. There might be some sort of correlation. Blue to literature, my favorite event. Minus prestige. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Look at our prestige. So, such a weird event condition. A good vintage. We're not choosing the prestige. Hopefully that's enough to get in. I think it'll be enough. We'll see. Do have the auto queue sorting out most of our building stuff. I think we're gonna probably stream for maybe another 20 minutes or so. Oh, that was college? Okay, yeah, that sounds like a college course. That'd be wild as a high school course, but like not necessarily bad. I don't hate it. I think that statistics should be taught in high school instead of like the upper level math. Like you should have to take statistics your senior year because understanding how to evaluate information and studies is like super important, I think. For you, the most valuable philosophy course was argumentation theory. Helps you daily on the internet. Yeah, you just like, bam, that's an ad hominem. Bam, tu quoque. Just all the logical fallacies. What would you give us? Okay, so we can decay this down. We're not like out of the woods yet. I still think we probably fail this, even though, yeah, because now we're we're decaying while at war. I think we spread the word here. Northern Cape. Free speech pamphlets. Pamphlets? I never want to do math for these things. I think that one's a little bit better. I feel bad because poker you would do like a lot of like odds math and like EV. I'm like, I just feel so lazy when I just kind of click through those. Oh, someone told us how to pronounce that thing and I've forgotten. We'll add some of this. I think that we're about kind of getting to the point where road maintenance is maybe not so good. And we would rather have more consumption taxes. Oh, we can't add another consumption tax. Terrible. We failed. Because the edicts only cost 75. We could put the edict back though. Or we could just float. Probably supposed to put the edict somewhere. Oh, one thing we actually do, I just realized if we're going to minor power, we don't want to deficit spend. Oh no. Alright, well, I think we're going to do this and then encourage resources here in free stat. And then come back and decrease this back down to the minimum. Definitely not used to doing too many of the infamy, like, crushing plays. Though, like, the big one was, I don't think you could do it as effectively as you used to be able to. You would rival a bunch of people as the US, and then put in a bunch of improved relations and then get rid of it, or damage relations. Maybe that's what we should have done. We should have damaged relations. Either way, it's so, anyway. You put in a bunch of these things, and then you decay down to major power and you get into Russia's market. It's like kind of the Uber strategy. Yeah, but let's get rid of our debt because we're about to be a minor here. Wait, East Indies have gotten released? Yep, sometimes funky stuff happens. Oh my god, my brain sometimes when I'm trying to remember where the colonies are. Just kind of Alright, we're about a third the way before we swap. We'll swap to Steam Donkey. Oh, now we're getting more from this, or a bigger negative from non. What happened? What changed? Oh, is it that we have to incorporate non-homeland stuff? So I think we just finished. Oh no, we haven't finished that. Weird. Maybe it was 4.2. We're just misremembering. Okay, so right now it's 4.25, right? And if we wait till Monday, will it also be 4.25? No, it's 0.25 estate. Okay. Alright. So, what are the best states to take? Just take a quick save in case. This is super unnecessary, actually. And we'll take Sintang. Sintang is going to be great for us. It has gold. It's cheap on the infamy. And we will decay the Paraguayan nation thing a little bit more. Because I think that, well, so we're also prepping for something long term that's like a little crazy, because we need to wait for them to colonize. They're colonizing so slow. Oh, Argentina is not even colonizing. They've given up. No. Who all has the claim here? Just Argentina, so we need Argentina to do that. Frick, man. We shouldn't have taken so much land off them. I wasn't thinking weirdly long term. I was just thinking we want the dirt. I guess they just don't want to colonize through here? Bro, why don't you want to colonize here? I don't know why they don't want to colonize there. I just feel confused, crying, screaming, throwing up. And we're minor power. Did we lose any subjects? No, but we also can't subjugate people for a while. Oh, and that decreases our Diplo, so we get an even bigger deficit here. So now we're like -2. Okay. We'll come back up in power rank pretty once we acquire enough overseas states, I think, to be able to tolerate that. So the most common ad hominem is don't feed the troll. I feel like that's not the most common, but that certainly is one. Although sometimes people are literally trolling. At which point the framing of the discussion should shift away from, in my opinion, it should shift from, is this argument good? It's, is this person worth engaging with at all? But that doesn't mean that they're wrong if you call them a troll. It just means, like, well, it implies that their argument's incoherent. So I guess to some extent, yeah. What about bankrolling them? That's what I was thinking, but then we couldn't do it because we don't have a... we need the Diplo to be able to bankroll them. And if we free up the Diplo, we will not be able to run this big a deficit again. So in order to keep our prestige tanked, we need to not bankroll them. Yeah, and we're just gonna make sure we're not running a deficit. Oh, what? Oh, the timing is so good. We already had the war, but then the schism... We got that war for super cheap, and then Sintake gets a bunch more territory. Bro, let's go. Also, this is going to give us a bunch of good lands to take. Basically, everything except for Java's good. Java's got way too much pops. But it's like, the threshold for pops, it's either 1.5 or 2 million is when it costs maximum infamy. So when you're in this, like, low 2 million range, it's, like, the least efficient, like, land to take. So we would not be going after Java, but something like Jambi, not a lot of pop, tons of resources, definitely worth picking up. I think we might go after Benjar and just look to annex them as well. Discord within the armed forces. Definitely want those guys marginalized for the Age of Cadillos. Or as marginalized as possible. But yeah, bankrolling would be the play. But yeah, now we get all of this, which would have cost significantly more infamy. We can't just let them leave. We're gonna get some gold. Dude, every run just seems to revolve around gold. Holy snaps. Let's get rid of... Just trying to avoid the shortage. Let's put that on auto expand. I'm not sure if we'll be able to employ up really well, but the private queue or the auto expand will, every time it's fully employed, basically, it will add one, so... instead of us just adding a bunch and them just not getting employed, which might be the case, but isn't necessarily the case. But we have averted disaster. The disaster of not being able to annex everyone. What's Paul Allen's turmoil? Do we have a police? I think we don't. Yeah, we don't. Kind of would prefer no home affairs. I mean, we're passing a law right now. Oh, we definitely prefer guaranteed libs though, so... We just go after Banjar. 3.9 infamy. And this, by the way, a bunch of rubber and oil will appear here eventually, so this is a pretty nice spot to go after. Do we have any... Oh, we're out of drink. Oh, no, wait, we have a little bit of this. Gold makes the weeboos go around. Facts. I mean, see how many gold mines we have here. We have 22. Oh, what is this? They're not all on condensing. Oh, we just took Westbourne out. We didn't reset the infamy there. That makes sense. Okay, we didn't reset the PMs in all these places. But we have 22 gold mines and we have like 5 more coming in. We have more gold mines than we have coal mines. Gold is so obscenely good. We have a ton of wood, and this is with us trying to push the iron because we have the iron company and we have all of the iron auto expanding, so definitely of a highly unbalanced economy. I was about to do something, but then I forgot what I was about to do. The truth hurts. We have a little bit of rubber in the economy. I was going to check this, because we only want to research this up to 10k. I think very often we only want to research it up to 12.5k. The infamy, or the cost is 12.5k plus a penalty for unresearched technologies in earlier eras. We're trying to resolve that by just natural spreading them. But I think we're going to switch to Steam Donkey right now. That way we just don't forget. But also, we're getting at kind of to the amount of... what is it? I think what we want to do is we want to push the universities. We're getting to an amount of construction where this is reasonable. And so we're going to push to 21 here. Actually, we're going to push to 11. Not because we would not want 21, but I think that we are going to have a hard time employing them up kind of in a timely fashion. So we're going to do this. And then push them up more as they get fully employed until they're at 31, which is our current economies of scale cap. And this will speed up our active research, I think, because I think we're not capped currently. Yeah, we're currently not capped. But then, even then, it will speed up our NAT spread, so I think that'll be good. Don't hate the poor laws, but really would want guaranteed libs. Radicalize them to cause a revolution. We could maybe go for a revolution, or we could just chill for a little bit. Kind of prefer technocracy. Cultural exclusion will make a non-zero difference. It just won't be a very big difference. Could just go propertied women. Could just chill. Kind of hate chilling. Oh, I don't want to give up control of 75% of the queue. We just don't have enough construction, I think, for that to be good. Hella nice this is decaying down really at a good clip. You just give you progress on the event you don't want. Yeah, but we also want the research. I wish we could see the breakdown. So I don't know how many universities cause how much. We have to build government administrations too. Maybe we're supposed to hold off. Or we'll build to... What's our current cap? Our cap is 130, man. We're gonna build at least a few. We'll see how this affects this. Because we're now decaying at a pretty good clip, right? But we also want to come back up to major power. So, and we're about to lose, like, this guy's about to be 50 relations, so we're going to lose access to that. But if we keep annexing guys... Jimbo says, Generalist Gaming, have you tried Terra Invicta? It seems like it'd be up your alley. I'm planning on getting it next time there's a major sale on it. It's on my wish list. Although, something that's amusing is I can write off any game I purchase on my tax return. This is a business expense. I'm playing Terra Invicta right now, says Richard. Yeah, I think I gotta try that one out based on what people are saying about it. Like, I like games that are often... Tedious is not the right word, exactly. Games that have a lot of depth and complexity. God, I hate using the word depth, though. The truth hurts. We're doing okay here. Alright, now you give in. You give us rent. Oh, that's all one thing? Bro. Alright, we did cause a shortage. Make sure we're not running shortages in these other places. Also want to take Brunei for the gold. But we could take Pontiac, which I think is just part of West Borneo. So, but they have 2 gold, so don't hate it. Except they're in the Russian market. Kinda don't want to get stuck up in a play just to reduce autonomy. Would want to improve relations with them, but we can't do anything with our stuff. Annexing Bahrain, maybe. Oh, it's not something we can do yet. Can we reduce? No, we cannot. 0.01. So here's the thing. We are not going to be able to form Rio de la Plata by just waiting for them to colonize because they're not colonizing. So I think if that's the case, we'll want to take them, continue down this road, and annex them, which feels bad. I mean, we could annex Ecuador. I think this is one we would want to save before we do it. Because also they have good mappy there. Coal and iron together. Also wood, iron, wood, coal, and rubber is like not terrible for the mappy. Because you will be good for the tools. But the thing is we might be able to get the annex on Ecuador for free down the line, depending on things. Oh my god, we should have less strategic regions, huh? I think we don't need this. Maybe we go Zanj. Jambi's 2 states, CX 2 states. Is Eche 1 state? It is 1 state. It's a split state. So we could go for Annex Eche. How much pops do you have? 500k. That's kind of... It's getting in the realm of starting to cost a lot. I think it's going to be, what, like 5 or 6 to annex? 6.6 infamy. Belungen's 2 states. I mean, we could just save and go for Belungen. I don't... No, we can't go for Belungen. We cannot go for Belungen. They are our subject. We could look to take a singular state. We could take Caleb's off of Java. They're starting to get a decent chunk of infamy there. British East India Company. I don't think I've seen them take Tidor before. Did we go for Selangor this game? I can't remember. Looks like we did not. Maybe we just chill. Because while we chill, the Paraguayan, this will tick down. I think we are supposed to acquire territories, but there's like nothing that really stands out as like, I want to annex that just like off the bat. Because the places you just want to straight up annex are gold places basically for the most part, and so... Okay, but if we're not annexing, who would we like to subjugate? And I think Jeremy is probably one of the better options. 0.6 infamy, bro. That's almost nothing. Oh, it sucks that we don't get a lot of maneuvers now. The main downside of Terra Invicta is you could easily get in a situation where you've already lost, but you don't know it yet. Those are my favorite. Get a mass migration to Corrientes. Is that in Peru? That'd be wild if it's in Peru. Bro, we have a mass migration to Peru? No, we don't. Okay. This makes more sense. Because they have turmoil. It's just very unlikely. Have you ever played Workers and Resources Soviet Republic? Most in-depth city builder I've ever played? I have not. I'm generally not that attracted to Soviet games. Or like things that are concerning the Cold War of the Soviet Union as a general rule of thumb. Jambi backs down. Hell yeah, brother. Joining the market. hop on board. I think we might conclude the stream here, though. Definitely expanded a whole lot. We got this Paraguayan nation kind of event thing. We almost went over the line. Someone had the good suggestion to tank the government spending. To be fair, we want the Caudillos, we want the armed forces weak anyway, so we might just keep the armed forces payments really low, no matter what. We decayed down to minor power. We also did this negative influence float to tank prestige. So now we're minor, which makes Brazil an insignificant power. The truth hurts. We could also maybe no, probably can't trade state with them. Actually, could we trade state with Arge to give them a populous state? We could give them Buenos Aires in exchange. Would this work? So they actually... Chacao for... So they're willing to accept Cordoba, which is by far the most valuable state, but we could give them... We could take this, give them this, because we eventually reincorporate everything for free, and then they get to be adjacent to here. Where's your capital, my dear friend? Dear friend, like we didn't just take a bunch of their territory. Is this, this is the problem. Is this, if this is their capital, my concern is that it's just not having contiguous access to the capital that's like breaking them. Tucumán would be what we would want to give them, so they would just be in a straight line, although it does have gold, so it's not like we want to give it to them, but... We could also ask for Mendoza, but I don't think we want to do that. But he's not willing to accept Tucumán. We could owe an obligation and give them Tucumán. And then they have contiguous access. Because this, I think this might be one of the things, is they can't colonize because they don't have contiguous access. It's kind of wild. I think we are gonna end. We're gonna do this, but we're gonna investigate and see if they start colonizing if we give them Tucumán. We're gonna investigate here. So derpy, but they accept it. So now Argentina is contiguous to here with their capital. Do you start colonizing, my friend? We might have to save and load. Probably a save and... Oh, they start colonizing! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! They're not going to colonize very fast. It's still maybe not going to be worth it, but with the idea that we can reincorporate that eventually when we form Rio de la Plata. Patagonia is currently split. Let's see, Mendoza's one, Buenos Aires is one, and Patagonia, which is Mapuche right now, is one. So we get all three of these, we can form Rio de la Plata, and then we can try for this massive pan-nationalist thing. Afterwards, I think. We currently don't have access to it, so the thing is I'm not even sure if we do form it, if we get the thing, but this will guarantee us that we can colonize through here. will secure us all these colonies if we just let them cook. And they also have more pops with which to do it. Oh, instantly starts colonizing down or emigrating to other places. Interesting. Amazing game. You mine for oil and gas. A complex game where workers and resources, like planned economy. We need to plan the economy. That's probably the most realistic context for an economics game where you control everything, though. So you need a connection to the capital. Makes sense since the market access would mess stuff up if it worked like that. Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, we could check and see if Cordoba would also be good enough. So let's see if we gave them a different thing, if it would work. But I think after this we're concluding the stream here. Or we are concluding the stream after this. We've already made the save file. But I did want to test this out. It certainly makes sense. Chacao. We give you Cordoba, which you would accept and does not have gold. Or actually, let's see if we give them Buenos Aires. Can we give them... We can't give them Buenos Aires. This is the state we can give them that doesn't have gold. Okay, so if we gave you Cordoba, which to be fair has a huge amount of population as well, they do accept. And I think that they will not be able to colonize, will be my guess, but let's see. Maybe it's like some sort of incorporation status, because this is unincorporated as well. And they're unwilling to incorporate it. And this is incorporated for them. And so maybe they will colonize out of this. Now, we didn't need to save and reload. They just started colonizing. So we'll just, you know, peel off a little bit and see what they do. Because see what we can do. Private schools, unlikely. Okay, so it looks like we will have to give them Tucumán in order to get them to colonize. Unless I'm just missing something. But I think we're going to wrap up here. We did some stuff with Paraguay. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It does help out. And other than that, as a European, when rubber and oil kicks in, colonial exploitation, well, I get it now. Yeah, so... I think colonial specifically on the rubber, but it seems like you get a lot of rubber anyways, so like I don't know how good I think this is relative to the other stuff, because the minus manufacturing industry, I think you generally want to incorporate pretty aggressively, but I think colonial exploitation is going to be better before you start incorporating. But yeah, it does look like they need contiguous access to the capital to be able to colonize here. Anyways, what is this about? Why didn't we get an invitation to that party? Oh, this is a long. This is that party. This is everyone remembers the war for German leadership that was fought in the streets of Manchuria. Anyways, see you guys later. Take care. Bye bye now.